20 minutes on each on each unit in any case.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
We're gonna get there.
We'll get there
Yeah, we
eventually. All right, and I just broke everything.
Got my Red Bull, I'm ready.
You're locked in, Ronnie.
Ready to stay here until 2 a.m. again.
Who needs Red Bull? I have a fork and some electricity.
All nighter
don't
for
need
Tim.
more.
All right,
Once again.
boys. Yeah, once again. Welcome back to the channel. Can everybody hear us well? Let's see if I could have both of these things up at the same time.
Hello.
That looks good. Buri goes in D tier. We'll get there, Chad. Don't you worry. Hello, welcome everybody. Chat's pretty active. Video here in 30 minutes or it's free. Haha, very funny. If you think I get paid for this. So, Maddie
Just for that,
boy...
we're playing an ad halfway through this.
Yeah, we're going to put an ad halfway through. Give me my 10 cents. Buri, strong use case is wild. No, that was wild. So, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining us tonight for this special live stream. Oh, I see. I actually can't have both of them open, so I'm going to have to tab in and out. I'm joined today by some very honorable, esteemed high Hearthguard members, which is no longer an insult to call them because we are revising our position on Hearthguard very soon in this tier list. So on the screen right now, we have the original tier list we made post Codex coming out, and the points were just readily available. And tonight, we're going to take you guys through a long, arduous, and beautiful journey as we rewrite our history and our perspective on our humble dwarves. Tonight, I am joined by the esteemed Ronnie Kinney. Ronnie, how's it going, buddy? With his Red Bull, he's locked in for tonight.
I'm ready. Another 5-hour conversation.
Yeah, another 5-hour conversation. We have Jordan Stuckenschneider here as well, joining us tonight to chat. Jordan, how's everything going?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. And then we got the legend himself, the man of the hour who doesn't need sleep, Tim Schneider, who's going to be here till the light comes up behind him, because I totally forgot that he's like 6 hours ahead of us time zone wise. So sorry, Tim. Tim, how's it going?
Help me. Matt is forcing me to do that. No, everything's fine, amazing. I'm once again really happy to be here, and each time my brain will be like, no, you go to sleep, I will hear something that I'm disagreeing with, and then I'll be like, no, I need to specify that.
Yeah,
and then everything will be fine in 5 in the morning for me or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. So, Chad, I'm really sorry, but I don't have 3 screens, so I'm going to have to keep cycling back and forth between your comments and everybody so you see them on the stream. So just be patient with that. I guess, before we kick things off, I think it's pretty exciting that every single one of us here mains a different detachment. That's pretty cool. We got Ronnie on Hearthband.
We all went completely different directions.
Yeah. Got Tim on Delve, got Jordan on Needguard, and then I'm a big Brandfast fan. A little bit of a tongue twister. So I think it's going to be cool to see different perspectives and opinions here as we kind of retroactively address some of our initial placings. Give Chad a second to catch up. How's everybody doing tonight? Where do you think Buri's going to land?
On eBay.
I think we need another detachment. I think we need another section.
Yeah.
Okay, time out. We need to watch what we say before we get another clip of like, oh, Buri's awful, and then the next tier list is gonna be like, Buri's a god. He's like 60 points. Actually, one shots a Norn.
Yeah, that's I guess how we should preface this. Basically, like the points are gonna change any week now, presumably. So this is kind of like let's just talk about how right or wrong we were until the new points obviously come out. And everybody is gone from the stream. Lovely. So what did I break? Let's see if
we're still here. Everyone's still here.
You all see each other on the stream still?
No. It's on the stream itself.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully that.
We're gone.
Hopefully that fixes it. I'll check back. Somebody confirm me. Okay, boys. So
I agree. I wish Hearthfire was playable, but it's not. It's too niche.
Yeah, I got the detachment video coming out on it on Thursday, and it's a bit of a stinker.
Delete the video.
Yeah, a bit of a stinker.
Hearthfire works as long the enemy doesn't understand how your one strat works. Yeah. And if he figures out if he just runs to you, you are like, this is bad.
Yeah,
Hey, all
or
I'm
if
saying is
somebody
I could
doesn't want to
shoot
shoot
you.
you. Yeah.
I could shoot you. You fall back, shoot you again, and then I'm gonna Overwatch you. I'm gonna shoot you like 30 times in like the course of one battle round with the same unit.
Yeah, as
But
long
not
as
on
you don't move
UKTC.
first. All right, boys. So I guess we'll jump on in. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different classifications here. We got auto includes, we got strong use case, fine/flex pick. We got the ECOG tier. I already know a lot of this is going to change for sure. And then I put like a detachment MVP tag here because some of the data sheets are kind of stronger or basically quintessential to some of the other detachments versus others. So we'll just dive on in and do a little roundtable discussion. All right, so kicking things off, boys, we got the Thunderkin, which I think is pretty much universally chosen in each one of our detachments for different reasons. So, Ronnie, we'll just take it from the top, man. Why don't you talk to me about Thunderkin for you and Hearthband, how that's been going?
So I'm gonna have the same words between this and Berserks. Having anti 3+ into your desired target, also going into power armor, just like wounding on 3s, with reroll 1s makes them extremely consistent with flat 3 damage. Things like Sanguinary Guard, Blade Guard veterans, Victrix Guard are gonna be 4 wounds, but they do a lot of damage into power armor and high like vehicles and monsters, which is great because we no longer have +1 wounds, so they're very reliable. And then also in addition to giving the strip cover for AP4 plasma and Hearthband is glorious. It is probably one of my favorite things to do is just go, cool, you have 20 power armor berserkers. I'm just gonna delete them with sustained hits, AP4 plasmas.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Strips cover, like Ronnie said, it gives you something that just has a threat towards vehicles, which is nice, makes them a little bit more consistent. You get the reroll 1s to wound, which is cool. You could proc a little bit more of those anti-vehicles or anti-monsters. I agree completely. I think they're pretty sweet. You take them in 3s, right, for yourself in Hearthband?
Oh yeah, I take 3 units of 3. They're 80 points, so I don't feel bad if they do a established locust or whatnot, but they still do plenty of damage into just about anything. The only thing they really struggle, quote unquote, into is like custodies, obliterators. But that's about it.
Okay.
And stealth. Oh my god, I hate stealth.
Yeah, stealth is a nightmare for
Such
our
a
army.
dumb mechanic.
Yep. Yeah. So I think that's pretty interesting to see how you're using them, and I guess it would also be an auto include for yourself as you're talking about them. So like on the other end, Tim, I know for Delve, which has been your focus here so far, isn't too much of an emphasis on shooting. You do have some of it, but it's largely just berserks, angry naked men running in with mauls. So I'm wondering, like for yourself, how are the Thunderkin working? I know early on you said you're considering dropping them entirely from some of your lists. Has your opinion changed on that?
Yeah, like in the end, you always will need to have a 3-man squad because at the point where you start to play something that is not Hearthguard, you have no AP, basically. And because on my list, I'm a huge fan of Hekatons and of as well, we will talk about it later, I think. Yeah, I want to have at least one turn where I can say, okay, the Thunderkin can jump out, they can give take no cover on the unit, and the Hekatons can actually do most of the damage or like get the damage boost that they need. And in my opinion, especially if you play them with the bolt guns and you have like the long range angles with up to 36 inches, it can start to be annoying for the enemy to actually kill them. Can he kill them? Most of the times, but it's not just, okay, I shoot like 2 rockets in the side, actually to like 4 to 5 lascans. And if you are in the second doctrine with like fortify, then it actually needs to be even more. And like inside of 36, there's most times just not as many weapons that the enemy can shoot at you, or he has different targets. Because if a predator starts shooting his autocannon into them and not into my berserks, I'm happy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just looking at chat here real quick, we have Mono who's talking to Ronnie here about the stealth. That it's true, yes, the conversion does ignore the stealth, but for the gravitons, which are the ones Ronnie's looking to run, the stealth does hurt quite a lot. Smoke too is brutal. That was devastating when I had tried it out. Okay, so that's interesting. So there's still a lot of value for you too, Tim, just taking them in Delve overall, getting that strip cover. And it's kind of essential when your whole army is AP1 and you don't have any way to strip cover outside of this one unit, which is really annoying.
Yes.
So what about yourself? Now, Jordan, yourself here with Needguard, as people probably recall from our detachment deep dive, you're not explicitly taking these guys in threes to strip cover. You're taking them to strip units.
Yeah.
So how's
Like
that
in
working for you?
Because in Needguard, you just use the sustained hits 2 strat on the beamers, right? So you're using them more like, instead of stripping cover, you're using them a little bit more for damage purposes.
Yeah, so this is really just like your delete button unit in that case. And
Yeah,
you
like,
mentioned
I
this
need
nice
that
little
thing
trick
that-
where you split fire as well.
Yeah, you can get some pretty good. You gotta identify when it's right to split fire. Sometimes, you need to just guarantee you kill something, right? And other times, you're pretty confident you'll overkill it. It's all about like just learning the situation,
Yeah.
figuring out what you need out of that unit at that time. So
Unit's pretty nasty, not gonna lie. It's one shot of Guo before it. It's glorious.
bro, yeah,
It does a
bro.
lot. It does a
When
lot.
it's a bit swingy. Like it is swingy, right? But like when it pops off, like I blasted through. This is hilarious. It's kind of funny how you mentioned it. Like your graviton were weak into custodies. I played a game. I blasted through a whole warden brick of custodies
Oh my
through their feel no pain, and it was like because I rolled like 10 4+. It was wild, and like it was the dream turn. I just completely like I've never done that before. I've never taken one unit and just blasted wardens through their feel no pain.
Yeah, it's kind of
But
impressive.
it was, a bit swingy, right? Like I needed to roll 10 4-ups for that to happen, but yeah.
I think for Brandfast, it's kind of a little bit of both. So you're looking to run the 2/6 squads because you get the sustain 1. You have the Iron Master who gives you the enhancement for sustain 2. So you get a little bit of everything, right? A little bit of the damage output from Needguard, strip cover access, just damage output consistently with sus 1. And then you take the 3-man also, so like 6/6/3 ideally, to strip cover for like some of your other key units, or open up with that 3-man and then hit them with the other Thunderkin brick if someone has power armor with armor contempt and like cover access, which is painful to get through. There's just one question here before we move on to Uther from Wix towards Ronnie, just asking why you don't use the conversion inside of Hearthband.
It's just number of shots. So conversion is cool and all. Like, don't get me wrong, having lethals on crit 4s, but I don't take 6-mans. There's no real strat support for Thunderkin besides fallback, shoot, and charge. So having 3-3-mans instead of like a 6-man and a 3-man, I get several activations. I strip cover on multiple things because I do have a lot of AP1. Like I have 6-man of the Daka Jacks, so it's a lot of AP1. I've got 3 units of bikes, AP1. The grenade launchers are AP1 in that detachment. So I have a lot of AP1, so I want to activate multiple times. And having 9 shots, it's a lot less swingy that I actually hit things. Also punching up, just having the ability to say I have 57 attacks of anti-3+ and not have to worry about a Knights matchup. Just having 6 shots with beamers and just going, okay, well, half of them hit and automatically wound. Whereas Graviton, I could say, cool, all 6 out of the 9 hit, and there's a good chance 5 out of 6, if not all 6, wound. So just the consistency there is a lot better. I'm more focused on trying to punch up. I think beamers are really good when you have access to sustains of any variety, but in Hearthband they don't really have that benefit.
Makes a lot of sense. All right, so are we all pretty agreeable on having Thunderkin still be an auto include?
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Now, this next one here I think is actually pretty interesting. We all spoke pretty highly of our little bald friend Uther. And while he's not destined for the shelves anymore, I actually do think most of our opinions have changed in terms of where we would classify him. So maybe, Jordan, do you want to open up with this one? What are your thoughts on Uther?
Yeah, I mean, I had him in a lot of my lists, and I think like every event I went to, I always had him. But I've recently, like in my practice games, I've been taking him out of my lists just for, I'm looking for more combat, right? I'm looking for more units to do more violence, and like I've just been like looking at my games and being like, do I need the CP reduction aura? And it's like, well, a lot of the times, like I move like a Hekaton, I move the beamers out, and Uther just can't get in range to do like the full combo of like reducing the stratagem cost. So I still end up spending 2 CP. And so I've just taken him out of my list recently. Just looking for more units to do more fighting. And I don't think like he's still pretty good. Like the ability is strong, but I don't know if he's auto include anymore.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I feel the same way when I run him in Brandfast. A lot of the time, you can get some value out of him for usually for the 2 CP strat, because that lets you say like, hey, like turn 1, turn 2, I have the threat of this, and I still get to spend a CP for something else, which is nice, but it's not always necessary. And I think more often than not, he's a little frustrating for me too, because he has the devs on his weapon and you can flip one to a 6. And I feel like he always just comes up like one 6 short to get the job done in my games when you need him to do something for you, like towards the end of the game in the center objective. So I also think he's not 100% necessary, and he's 95 points. We don't really have the luxury of taking like little fun tech things either, I think, with Votann, because we're slightly overcosted, I would say, almost across the board. So I agree with you. I don't think he's a necessary auto include, and I would argue he goes in strong use case. What about yourself, Ronnie?
So I think there's like 2, maybe 3 detachments out of 6 that really want him. Delve, I don't think is one of them, because you're going to be deep striking everywhere, not around Uther. And if you are deep striking around Uther, it's very predictable of what you're going to be doing. Like if Uther's in a certain spot, you know where they're going to be going. That happens for most detachments. With Hearthband being pretty melee focused, the way I play it, having that variety, and then Delve also being melee focused, Uther's probably not in the position you want him in. So I think he's good, but I don't think he's an auto include in all lists.
Yeah, that makes sense. Especially, like you said, the deep strike ones where you're playing further up the board. And then I guess, Tim, just for yourself on Delve, how do you find Uther performance?
I totally disagree there with Ronnie, to be fair. I think
our
yes,
first
always.
disagreement.
Yes, so like about Delve at first. At first sight, you have all the time the Hekatons where the Berserks get out, and then you go for the advance and charge. So there you can easily, because in the end you need to think about, okay, Uther moves at least 6 inches, plus the 12-inch aura, so you have basically you have 18-inch aura, or like 70.9, whatever, where you can have your CP reduction. So for Delve it's quite easy also, because a lot of times you could actually say, okay, if my Berserks would come down here, they could get in this area or whatsoever. I feel like if you start to play against armies, especially if you are melee focused, that have vect auras, you need Uther that hard, because we are so like I think the best part in nearly every detachment we have is our threats. Like the threats make a lot of our units a lot better, a lot harder, and Delve especially, because Berserk get advanced charge, get wound rerolls, -1 to wound. Like I feel like in Delve I can spend 4 CP each turn and still wouldn't be enough. And also I felt like that the threat of, hey, I can overwatch with this Hekaton now and doesn't cost me a CP, can hold a lot of armies in a defensive position, because we all know the Hekaton Overwatch now is really scary. Like I had multiple times where you roll like 2 or 3 6s on your sustain 2 gun, and they just melt a 5-man squad of Marines or even more. And I think the biggest part is that you start to make a plan. Okay, in turn 3 where Uther should stand. Like for me it is like, okay, in turn 1 he stays back there, makes it slow whatsoever, and then he always goes into a Hekaton already, because next turn I can have the range and can bring him more to the front line, and in turn 3 is the latest point where he starts to get also into melee, because you need to play him aggressively in the end still, because we are so hard in points that everything needs to count. And if he makes that, because he has the flip, he has the wound, he has the death wound thing, I feel like he can do quite decent damage. And on the other side, the enemy can have a hard time to remove him. This is maybe just a Delve thing, because in the end I'm saying here are 10 Zergs that are hard to remove, here are the Hekatons, and then maybe here's little Uther that in the end can still flip something, that can maybe even get the -1 to wound. Will you probably not, but just for the enemy to think about. At least in my games it helps a lot that I can give too many targets out for my enemy, and there was there was more than one time that Uther just gets out and kills like 4 Marines. At least in my games. And the enemy just cannot punish it, or if he wants to punish it, my Zerg will live.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so how you're using him is kind of just like this piece that keeps your opponent honest because of that threat that he poses with a lot of like strat access, or even just like threat saturation when you got the Berserks coming in your face, and they got like, you know, the toughness, and they got the durability enhancements and strat support, and then you have Uther there as well. It's like pick your poison. Like, who do you want to go for? And then the other side is going to collapse on you or still get some kind of value. I think that makes a lot of sense. Counters the Vectora as well. So how do we feel about his classification? I guess there is still a good argument to have him as an auto include and a strong use case. So
I mean, to be fair, let's be real here with like the meta going for Hearthguard right now, and there's get really hurt from that. I would actually be fine if we would like bring him one down, or maybe even making Detachment MVP, because I think there are some Detachment that absolutely need him.
yeah,
It's like in Delpha's example where you have like that many threats you want to spam, but like in Desert like Halfband, I totally there with Ronnie on the other side. There I don't really see him because you cannot bring him that close to the Halfband that wants to 6-inch deep strike somewhere or 9-inch and charge. I would be happy there because I think he's more like in 2 out of 4 detachments he is really good, and the other ones is he's more like, if I had the points and nothing left, maybe I pick him, but I would like to have something else.
I'm okay with that. I think that makes a lot of sense. We could put him in.
Yeah, I can agree with strong use or MVP, because I know Needguard definitely wants him because you're using all the strats all the time. There's like one strat you really don't use.
Let's put him in strong use case. Top of strong use case. I feel like that's pretty representative. Yeah. Okay, next up, the Humble Warriors. Shouldn't take too long on this one. Sticky, tough bodies. When they have -1 to wound, ways to buff them up with Grimnirs. I think some detachments use them a little bit more, to be fair. Brandfast, I would say they're auto-include, and you're probably taking 2 sets. And I think in Needguard, you're probably going to take 1. Are you running any Ronnie inside of Hearthbound?
Yeah, so what I normally do is it's points dependent. If I need an extra 30 points, I can always drop the Sagittar Warrior Brick down to a Capricus Jaeger combo. But if I have 30 points in the list, I run 1 Saggy Warrior split, 1 Jaeger Capricus split, because having sticky and then also having the reroll hits and wounds of 1 is pretty nice.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense. And Tim, for Delve, I don't think you're taking these, right? Because you're running the double Capri.
Nope.
That might also be like, you know, it's just better on WTC. I think the double carrier with the Jaeger split, having played on both, I think there's
I would actually
more
say
value.
it's better on Games Workshop.
Really?
That's just
Because
Really?
in WTC you have better chances in terms of you can just hide Berserks behind something, or can just deep strike them on a point that is safe. And on Games Workshop layouts, the carriers are much more likely to hide somewhere, or just say you need 2 activations.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
But for overall, I think the main part, and at least in Delve, I don't take them, is I have Earthshakers to stand on my home base. For what do I need warriors?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with Tim. I have noticed that like Earthshakers take up, like, you're spending points on Earthshakers or warriors almost, right? It's never, not never, but you're probably not spending points on both at the same time, right? So.
Okay. So I think we could put these guys down from auto include into, I would say, if you're playing Brandfast, probably strong use case, and if you're playing, it sounds like the other detachments, it's looking like top of fine flex or bottom of strong use case.
I could see bottom of strong use.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I'm good with that.
Because they're useful, but it's just like you can take warriors and the Saggy, or you can take Capricus or Jaegers. Like, you just have the choice.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I would probably just say fine and flex, because in the end, nearly everything they do can the carrier do for cheaper. And I mean, if we get a buff in the Sagittar or the warriors, maybe I see it, or in Brandfast with like the sticky ones getting out. But I don't really saw any list that was not many lists, let's say it like that, that actually used them where the player after the game doesn't say to me, I could also just take 5 Jaeger standing on the backfield for 45 points.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
reasonable.
I'm
so
there with the group as well.
the way that I'm looking at it is they're also 2 OC apiece, and we don't have a ton of OC in our army. Just dropping 5 dudes on an objective, even if they're not going to kill anything, they're going to out OC a lot of just skirmish pieces. So if it's not to kill something, they're still denying primary.
Yeah, that's where I get my value
And
from
having
them as
4
well.
up, 5 up, 6 up is also pretty durable
Yeah.
comparatively.
I'll keep them in strong use case for now, because I agree with Ronnie on this. It's probably a little bit more detachment specific again, but I agree, like, the OC denial is something that it's kind of hard to get in other places, despite the Jaeger combo being a lot cheaper. Speaking of, Jaegers are up next. This, I think, pretty confidently we all just agree is auto-include. I think we could just keep it here. You all know why.
I
Not
would
even a conversation.
Yeah.
I would even say that Jaegers could be moved a tier up if we had one, because I feel like one squad of Jaegers is where you start. The carry and the Jaeger squad is where everything starts for every Votann list.
I agree. I agree completely. I'll even move it up above Thunderkin. It's the first thing you throw in every time.
Yeah, if you have Jaegers in your list, you're already started the list. If you don't have it, then you probably need to go buy Jaegers.
Yeah, you got to open the app.
And the second thing to go on that list is a carrier.
Yeah. So let's skip ahead to the carrier, because I took a look at our old screenshot we had, and I don't know if it was because we didn't know the image of what was what, and I had this carrier inside of Fine Flex and a defender in strong use case, but that must have been a mistake. So I fixed it here, unless we were really losing our marbles. But I think
I think we're just excited about railguns, like mini railguns for cheap.
I'm off that high.
I remember correctly, you were a bit more into, okay, what in the end do you get for your points? And it was okayish, but not that amazing, because the Jaegers itself have the ability to get split, and the carrier has the ability as well. It's a bit more in which direction. Like, in the end, if you only had points for one of them, you would take the 10 Jaegers and not the carrier.
Okay, that makes sense then. That makes sense what we were thinking. We still had index brain, I guess. We still had to adopt a new view. So this is auto-include.
Yeah, I think a lot of this, we looked at upgrades and downgrades versus index instead of the actual practical use that we have with it now.
Yeah. After getting games in, I think we see that it's literally a brand new book. It's like a new army, basically, functionally. Okay, so we're going to move the carrier up with the Jaeger. It's just a quintessential combo. You get both of these to start every single list off. Sometimes you take double of them, just because they're that good, they're that cheap. Okay, the Humble Pioneers, they have some great utility. They got the uppy downy, they're good skirmishers, in Hearthband especially because of the reroll once to wound. I still quite like them in, I'll be honest, I haven't played Delve, but I like them in every other detachment that I've played still, at least one set. Can't go wrong with that utility, uppy downy. It opens up different point scoring options for your list as well, so the ceiling increases. So I actually think they're pretty useful. I don't think they're auto-include anymore, though, unless you're playing Hearthband. But what do you guys think? Let's start with Tim on Delve.
So I would say Delve is the only detachment that doesn't want to take them, because we already have uppy downy for 5 turns.
True.
We don't need the screen back there because we have Earthquakers. I feel in every other detachment you want to have them, because there's no unit that is so cheap, has such a large footprint to actually screen your backfield, and still let your enemy screen for 5 turns, basically the whole backfield. And you still have damage, because in the end, I mean, they still have 9 shots of damage too, and some 6 shots. 1 and 6 more. It's like you cannot say my 5 Guardians on the home base will hold it easily against these spikes.
Yep, absolutely. Totally valid. Jordan, are they still in your list for Needguard?
Oh yeah. I mean, like, every time I've kind of switched up the list. Now I have 3 of them.
Oh, nice.
They're just really good, right?
Yeah.
Like they still do it. They do some important roles, right? Like they uppy downy, they screen really well, they scout. They're like little like skirmish. They fight the trash wars really well. They're good. Like I don't know.
Yeah, they have the AP on their weapon too now, which is nice. So you blast and you just charge in if you have like 1 or 2 guys left.
They're like, it's funny how I wonder if they're like I wonder if like I wish I kind of had JPIs instead of them, but like in my mind, they're basically our JPIs, right?
Yeah.
For the most like they're not as good because they're mounted, right? But they do that kind of what JPIs do almost in a way.
I heard a rumor that we're gonna get a rules update on flyers. I don't know how true this is, where flyers get to move through walls, but across the board, all flyers are losing. Not flyers like the big things, like anything with fly keyword is gonna lose 2 inches of movement. So I don't know. That could be
I would be
interesting.
cool with that.
You can say, yeah.
I hope this is not happening. I just see the fire dragon serpent moving only 19 and 21 inches in my face.
Yeah, maybe they're gonna
Oh yeah,
limit
no, never mind.
vehicles.
Wave serpents.
They might limit vehicles out, I would imagine, or yeah, that would be kind of crazy, but I could see it, man. And then Ronnie, how about in Hearthband? How are these doing for you? I think they're great in Hearthband when I try them out, man. Oh my god.
I agree with Tim. It's like I think Delve's the only one that really doesn't want them. Because they have the uppy downy. Like the bikes are just so good, even not including Hearthband. Hearthband makes them more consistent again because the reroll ones to hit automatically and then reroll ones to wound. But there are 80 points for uppy downy, scout 9, move 12, fly, grenades, ignore hit mods. They actually have like melee instead of just close combat weapons. They have
Yeah.
like 20 shots for 80 points. Like it's insane what they can do.
And
That
don't
shouldn't
forget
happen.
the
Like I
OC6
fully
even.
expect them to go up. Oh yeah, they're 2 OC a piece also.
Yeah, that's great.
Like
Yeah.
that's insane.
They're really good.
Yeah.
I think they're probably auto include, right?
Yeah. I think they stay.
every-
Yeah.
They're still up.
Yeah.
Like even at
I
Delphi, you
think-
could play them if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Will
just
not
so
hurt.
you don't have to spend a CP on it.
Yeah, I mean, just that you can in the end say, okay, you just put like I don't know 5 rangers out of the point, and my Earthquake is to do something else. The bikes can finish it off or whatever. It's like it will not hurt you to have them in my opinion.
Oh, 100%. And again, like I've seen people just like Tim said, like Uther, like if they go out of the way to kill Uther, awesome. Same things. Like I've seen people throw away value to kill bikes because
Yeah.
they know what bikes are capable of.
Yeah, just catching up on chat here. So I agree. We'll keep it in auto include. There's a question from Matty Boy 287 for myself, asking my thoughts on Kyle with warriors with precursive judgment enhancement, lethal sustained reroll, QS on 5+ Overwatch. I don't like that enhancement. I was talking with someone on Reddit today, actually debating it because they were recommending to run a call with 5 Hearthguard with that enhancement inside of a land fortress. I just don't think that's where you want to be putting your points. It's cute. I think I'd rather have a Grimnir instead, who gets the sustain 1, because now that's almost looking at like, index days of output, so pretty sweet. I think that's where you go. I just don't think that Overwatch is worth that much at AP1, especially. So yeah, that one's a pass for me, but maybe there's something there that I'm not seeing. May have been said, but everyone on the call should do a quick rundown on the list they currently run in their respective detachments. We could definitely do that a little bit later as we look at, if we get to it. I have another tab here for the actual detachments, so we could do a little rundown there in terms of what people are liking and what they're running. But hopefully this is giving you an idea so far of what we prioritize in our list, depending on the different styles we're going for. All right, so we'll keep them in auto include, and then I think the next one's going to stay here as well. But we got the chonker itself, the big Hekaton. Now, I know that for all the detachments, we seem to love having them, but there's one that Ronnie was talking about before we jumped on the call, and the conversation was kind of building up. So maybe we could reopen that one. So Ronnie, you feel that the land fort is the only detachment that doesn't really want it is Hearthband.
So I don't think the detachment doesn't want it. I just think the detachment doesn't need it. Like overall, like as someone who in Index ran 3 land forts, and now I'm running 0, and I still have very similar output. Like the only reason why I could like start thinking taking forts more is having the conversion beamers with a flat 4 and then just kind of pushing back towards Needguard. Because having the 4 shots of damage 4, crit 4, sustain 2 lethals is wild. And Vitrix Guard don't like them at all.
True.
But the fact that they no longer ignore cover and they're just a volume of damage to AP effectively 0, unless you put another 80-point investment into them, It's 320 points to make them do pretty much what they did before. So I don't think they're needed. I think they're a pretty nice stat check to have, but they're just not the damage output that I am used to seeing. So I think we can take so much more stuff without land forts.
And I think that's a good call out because I know Jordan and I were having some fun on Discord, just kind of like making lists without land forts in them, and it's kind of insane how much more you could fit if you don't put 2 land forts in your list. It's crazy. You could fit like 30 Hearthguard, like 3x10, with characters on all of them, and still have like 17 activations in your list on top of that if you don't take any land forts, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, if you drop 2 land forts, you can take 3x6 Thunderkin, all with anti 3+ weapons. So you're getting the punch up that you want to, and the AP and the stripping of cover, and it's still a ball of wounds.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I know they do work in Hearth, but like you said, right? It's not that they don't work in Hearthman, it's just that you don't think they're needed. I know they do work. People are having success with them as well. We have a comment in chat talking about Thale saying he won a major with Hearthband running 3 forts, which is pretty sweet. So they do work, right? I think there were even a few games that were live streamed, and we covered them on the channel for triple fort lists. I think in Delve, Tim, they're essential too. Sorry, go ahead, Ronnie.
Yeah, I don't say that land forts don't belong in Hearthband. I just personally don't. I like the fact that I have 18 activations with enough killing power. And if you have 3 land forts, the amount of stuff that you can have in that list is less effective or just less prevalent.
Mm-hmm. Tim, pretty essential in Delve. You get that extra threat range.
I mean, for Delve, it's essentially. I would personally also say that's one more point that maybe it's like a German thing because a lot of people here actually know to play against Votann or kind of tech against it as well. But I feel like if you don't have Hekatons on your list, people will have the ball to start the whole army on the basically on the deployment zone, maybe like 1.5 inch away. The Thunderkins that start there couldn't shoot them, and I feel like this is a real problem because I think we all the time struggle with armies that will just run into us completely, especially because we don't have the damage. Like Hearthbrand doesn't have the Terminators on the board turn 1, and maybe not even turn 2, depending who goes first. Like the enemy has 2 turns to push into you. Needguard has the problem that he doesn't have the judgment tokens to actually get the sustain 2 and everything out. And Delve, of course, has the Berserks on the field, but in the end, it's still, most cases, 1 Berserk unit is good and the rest is let's see what happens. And I feel like Hekatons are kind of a protection that the enemy just don't go right on the point that says, I will just run into you because you don't have anything to bring damage into me or even have the chance to do damage if you go first.
Yeah.
But maybe this is just like a thing that I see more.
No, it's definitely true. When I had played Hearthband and I did the tactical report video, played against my teammate, running like that full Dreadnought White Scar detachment, and it was basically just deploy on the line. I had no land forts, I couldn't really interact with him, and he just stood out there in the open and shot until I was close enough to actually interact with him. So it's true, like people could disrespect you because you don't have the long range. So I definitely see the value in this. And I know Ronnie's doing super well without them, and I know other people are doing super well with them. So it just seems like it might be like a playstyle thing, and meta potentially too as well. Jordan, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same like page. It's just like everyone's doing well with everything.
Yeah,
like there's no real wrong decision besides running Hearthfire. Yeah. Everyone else, like if you're running, everyone is running everything, and it works. Everything's just equally consistent.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, at least in Needguard, right? I feel like they're pretty auto-include. They work really well with Armor of Contempt and the shootback strat. So.
Yep, makes sense.
But yeah, like they're good in pretty much every list or like every detachment, right?
Mm-hmm. So. Yep. I'll keep them here at the bottom of auto-include just with that, you don't need them inside of Hearthband, but you could take them as well, and they're pretty good. Okay, so 1 roll completely done, and then here Uthar's done, and then the meme man himself. So we have him as strong use case, but to be honest, guys, I feel like every single list has one inside because there's always an enhancement you're taking that needs to be held by the cheapest character available, and it's always going to be the meme man, and he helps with the yield point control. Any objections to having this guy move up into auto-include?
I would
Um,
start here if I'm allowed. I would place him in Detachment MVP because I feel like there's detachments that need him 100%, and there's detachments like Hearthburn where you don't care at all to have him. Because I think Delve and Needguard are the two that need it. That's it. Because
Delve and
Delve
Needguard,
needs
yeah.
the ability, yeah, and Needguard needs to have the guy so that you turn 2 always have the AOC ready.
Yeah.
Because you are in 40.
Yeah, I quite like him in Brandfast too, just to stay in hostile a little bit longer. It's kind of where it shines.
Fair.
So I would keep, yeah, but that makes sense too. That it's Detachment, right? And then the other 2 or 3, well, 2 because Hearthfire doesn't count, probably are going to be taking him. Ronnie, do you run one in your list? No, you don't
I've tried
take
him out on several occasions. If you go second, you're pretty much going to hit fortify bottom of 2. Like,
Yeah.
there's not much that you have to worry about because you get 2 on the battle round 1. If you go second on your turn 1, you just get on all the objectives, or just honestly get on 2 of them. So now on their command phase, you get 4 more yield points. Start of yours, you get another one.
Yeah.
So if you go second, it's pretty easy to hit fortify on turn 2. If you go first, I see that more times than not you want to be in hostile because you want to have that denial access without having to put yourself on those objectives. So having just hostile +1 to hit, denying primary because you have so much primary denial that you have to do going first to make up for their bottom of turn scoring.
Yep, that makes sense. So we could put him in Detachment MVP. I think that makes a lot of sense. In Needguard, Jordan, you take him in Needguard, right? Just to ramp up a lot quicker
Yeah.
with the enhancement Dead Reckoning,
Yep.
right? Yeah. Is it Dead
Yep.
Reckoning? I don't remember what it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I will just say, side note, but like I played Persecution Prospect a little bit before, and like having access to the strat to just dump all your yield points and switch back to hostile is so nice that I kind of wish it was like universal as part of our army rule. That would have been super cool.
He's
to
a
have.
45-point enhancement holder.
Yeah, basically.
Like, it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's needed in a lot of lists.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so moving along to the Iron Master, we had one up here for strong use case. I don't think there's a strong use case for him anymore, having played games. Ronnie, you're shaking your head. Why don't you start off? Because I think you were actually one of the biggest advocates for having him in strong use case. All right, so what changed?
So I don't know. I don't run 6-mans of Thunderkin, really. And I can see him being used a lot more in Brandfast and Needguard. But like he's a lone op, cool. I prefer him as a lone op instead of like Buri, which we'll get to him.
Yeah.
But I used to just think that he's just really good to hold enhancements for the 6-man of Thunderkin. But outside of that, he's just not needed. Yeah, I thought the extra wounds were good. It's just not what I thought it'd be.
Yeah, that's fair. Now, Tim, I know in Delve, he's actually pretty important because he gets to hold one of the key enhancements that you're taking to revive Berserks, right? Because he gets to lone op near your forts, he gets to heal them, and that just makes you cycle more Berserks out faster because you get more movement speed. Is he still in your list?
So, yes, 1%. Like, I tried to replace him multiple times. It's not working at all because, in my opinion, he makes 3 key roles in every list. So the first one is, do you run 2 Hekatons or more? This would be my first question, because if you have 2 Hekatons, there's a pretty high chance that you at least 2 to 3 times heal in a game, and then he makes his points worth just there. And also, it stops the enemy from doing like stupid things from like, should I just shoot my, I don't know, one last can into you? And if you have an Iron Master, the people most cases will not do it because even if it hits and wounds, if you say, okay, cool, I did 2 damage and we'll lose the tank force or whatever. And also the possibility that you can just build like a really string line that is lone up is, in my opinion, amazing. That had multiple games where he was just like, okay, I just push like one of little ecogs barely out of the middle point, and then had like a nearly 6 to 9 inch line back to my Hekaton where the rest of the squad was. And then you just put some Berserk right behind the building where you can always heroic when he gets charged. And if something moves into 12, you in Delve can put -1 to wound on him on the whole spot. So most of things don't kill him. This is a Delve only thing, of course, but I feel like in Delve he's an auto include, and in other detachments, I would say if you run 2 Hekatons or more, he helps you a lot because having a lone op actually is a tough one for a lot of armies to crack without exposing too much.
Okay, so that's a good point. Now, I have my opinion about it as well. Going into Detachment MVP is where I'd want to put him. But before that, you mentioned that the first criteria you look at is if double land fort, consider the Iron Master. Now, Jordan, I know you're running double land forts here, but you are not a fan of the Iron Master. So, how do you feel about him?
Yeah, I mean, I run the conversion beamer bricks, right, and they just don't benefit nearly as much. And I don't have like an enhancement I'm putting on him in Needguard, so yeah. I mean, the idea of like, because he has a lone op with the Hekaton, right? The idea of like using him, he's what, 75? Just using him as like your, string out to your natural, and you can hold an objective in the open, right? With like a lone op. Now that's important. That's something Buri could do, right? If he was a lot cheaper. Like I've thought about it. I just don't have the points in my current list, so
yeah.
I just don't run them.
Okay, so I'm happy putting him in Detachment MVP because I think in Brandfast he's pretty good as well for the Sus 2 carrier. And it seems like in Delve he's essential as well, but everywhere else you don't really see him. So we'll slap him in there.
Yeah, in Needguard, you either put it on a call with 10 Hearthguard or you put it on him with the 6 Beamerkin. Because giving the Beamers sustain 2 and the plus on a wound is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Makes them a lot more scary and do everything in the game.
Yeah. Okay, so next up we have good old Buri. Good old Buri. Now is Chad here? Is Chad still on standby? The first comment of the stream, tell me when you're on Buri. We're here. Now Buri, what an interesting little dwarf. The man that carried so much hope with us with the Codex. The face and cover of our new Codex. Just
so bad.
So bad. I said the first time I saw his stats that he is an anemic profile, and the rage threads I generated off of that comment, I'm still waiting to be proved wrong. Maybe this week when the points come down I will, but in this span of time since I made that statement in this context, I'm still waiting.
Buri is so... I was going to say, Buri is, like, half of his rules are pretty good, and the other half are just like, whatever, man. It's really annoying. Like, the Blood Surge is played around, like, you can play around it, but it's like, I think Buri needed a Feel No Pain, and when you look at his model, like, the dwarf should probably have a Feel No Pain, right? He's been thrice devoured. But now he's like I've been joking, he's like the 18th tank shocked, right? Like, people just tank shock him and move on with their lives. Like,
yeah, or GPI just grenade him, pistol, and then charge and kill him.
like it's just the lone op and revive on a 2-up is strong. Like, that combination of rules is good, but the rest of it, he just, like, number one, he's very expensive, and the Blood Surge is just kind of easily played around. So
I even forgot he had
we
Blood
just give him the boss Snickerot rules.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy.
And then also give him a Vex. A Vex would be awesome on Buri.
He needs
instead of a Blood Surge.
It's just not enough. Like, even his attack profile, I remember people were like salivating at this guy's damage 3 attacks on 5 attacks, right? Like damage 3, 5 attacks. And it's like, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do enough.
I would say...
Go ahead, Tim.
I would say Buri has an identical crisis because he just don't know what he is. Like, does he want to be the lone op character from Lieutenant from the Space Marines? For that, he would need a reactive move and a Feel No Pain. Does he want to be a beefy guy? For that, he would need more damage output and something else. But I feel like, to be fair, he's priced pretty well for what rules he has. But all these rules don't work together. Like, he is half of this, half of that, but not everything in compare. Like, I would say it needs a data sheet. Like, of course, you can drop the points that cheap that you will take him. If he goes like to 60 points, you will probably take him, or 70. But that doesn't change the fact that his data sheet needs a rework.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a bit
of
everything.
I agree with you 100%. He should... I wish he was closer to like the Combi Lieutenant, but also with the enhancement to give him Vex. Like, just have that baked into the data sheet instead of a Blood Surge. Like, lone op, Feel No Pain, reactive, Vex.
Yeah.
And then just drop him to 100, and we're good.
I was honestly surprised when I suspected that when they would redo Hearthband, he would be included in the actual detachment because he's a call, right? Like he is a call, or he was a call anyway. I thought for sure he'd be included to get like the reroll one soon, which would have helped honestly quite a bit. But
he wasn't. He isn't a call.
oh, he isn't a call. He's
He
just a
donned
guy.
call armor
Oh,
because his
Yeah,
entire.
he's like a eat champ or something. Like he was a warrior, and he basically took whatever armor was left. What was his old cow armor or something like that, if I remember correctly.
oh, so they should just promote him to a call. Like they should just promote him at that point. Anyway, he also caused one of our channel members to sell his army. So he saw the rules. So shout out to Chad.
Sorry, Chad. Not a very Chad move, Chad.
So we're gonna drop this guy way down to the bottom of ECOG tier. I would put him lower than the Meh ECOG. He's just pure ECOG tier.
Make the Buri tier.
Yeah. I don't know if I could add one. But he's
Can we
a
also
Buri
talk
tier.
about why the guy who's the face of our Codex has a 3-up save, not a 2-up?
I didn't even know he had a 3-up save. That's pitiful.
No money.
It's embarrassing. Poor guy. Okay, so moving along, the Jacks. So the Jacks, I think people were pretty hyped about at the start. That was probably our best-selling model of the Codex launch. Sold out everywhere here in Canada, at least. There's still Thunderkins, and there are no Steel Jacks, so tough to find. I don't know if there's a strong use case for them anymore. I have my own opinions, which I guess I'll share last, but we could maybe start with Jordan on this one. How do you feel about the melee jacks? Or maybe like we could talk about both at the same time here.
Interesting. Yeah, I think the sword jacks, like I've tested with and without, and like they're okay damage. I thought, like reading initially, I thought their damage would be a little bit better, and after playing with them, they really struggle to punch up. Like anything that's higher than strength 7 or T7, like their damage just kind of falls off a cliff. And their like fallback rule is like only versus infantry. So like I feel like when they take their big monster and they push it at me, Steeljacks don't really do the role that I kind of need them in that case. Like they're okay, but I just have struggled like getting real value out of them.
Yeah,
All my games. They just
I
kind of
feel like they're kind of tame. Like they're a nice heroic threat. What I have found in Brandfast, they were really solid for that. Into EC was great. They just punched Lucius to death, which was funny. But I mean, it's damage 1. As soon as you lose a guy or two, it's like they just slowly don't do much. And if you don't have access to fallback, shoot, and charge as a strat in your detachment, I think they're a dead unit to bring.
I really wish they had advance and charge.
That would be
somewhere.
Cool. That would be
like
nice.
Anywhere. But like, I think that really limits them. They feel very slow, and
yeah,
it's a tough place for a melee unit to be. So,
Tim, what about
I think
you?
they're okay.
Yeah, I think they're like okay, but I'd rather honestly take some Berserks instead.
So I would say Steeljacks are like, first, just from the perspective on the data sheet, I would say they can be one of our best, or not even our best damage unit in Needguard. Because if you put the +1 to wound enhancement with wound rolls of 1 in, you have 36 attacks, hitting on 2s at least, and in some cases even on 0s. And then you're wounding on 2s nearly every infantry in the game, with reroll 1s to wound with AP4. So these gods will murder nearly everything they touch that is infantry, and even against tougher targets, because they're strength 6, as long as it's not toughness 12, they will still do like 15 to 18 AP4 wounds into most bigger monsters. But then the problem comes, but you want to have the +1 to wound enhancement on Hearthguard or something else. It's like, in the one use case where you can get everything together, they are really amazing, but you have other units that can do it the same or better, in my opinion. And then, and this is the biggest problem we always had, that we had, in my opinion, in Index, that we have now as well, melee units that cannot push, that you cannot just say, okay, I will just push them forward to clear something behind the wall, are just bad. We don't need a reactive countercharge or possibility. We need something that can clear something that can push. And because Hekatons are now paper tigers, and we can agree or disagree, but like in my matter, if I push Hekaton out, it's dead because no AOC anymore. Nearly every Marine army right now in the right turn has AP5 or AP4 ignore cover, so it just kills it. You don't have the possibility to bring the Steeljacks even close to the enemy to get a charge threat there. I still feel like 3-man squads can work in some detachments to like some small skirmers to kill like some small squads on the points, but you need to get there. But yeah, of course, I mean, in Delph we don't need to talk. I have better melee units.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw.
If you win with Hearthfire, I will buy you a drink at the next event we go to.
Hearthfire. Yeah, I wonder if that's probably the only place where on paper they work. I feel like I agree. Obviously, I think there are better places to get damage from, and they don't really do the role that you hope they do as like this. What they were sold as is like this enforcer that kind of runs forward and like holds the line, which would have been nice if you could push them aggressively to clear things. Uh, yeah, I don't know. And then like the fist is kind of dead right now too. Like you don't take the fist, so that's just like a dead loadout. So they're kind of one dimensional. Ronnie, what about Hearthbound? I know like there was a Hearthbound list going around from Matsuru Cleric, I think, who was taking 3-mans. I think that was kind of like the idea of like instead of an index Hearthbound where you're running Berserks, you're now running like these 3-man Steeljacks instead. Any use case out of them for you?
So I run the 6-mana Daka Jacks because, like Tim said, if you're not running land forts, they can tend to disrespect your ability to shoot. Which is why I also run Berserks. So I can kind of have that cool if you want to disrespect me and kind of push me. I kind of have Berserks to be able to shoot you, or Berserks to charge you, 6 Daka Jacks, a bunch of bikes that can just shoot you, just so they know I'm not helpless. But one thing I like to say is having the ability to threaten is almost as good as the threat itself. Like deploying bikes on a line or putting 6 Steeljacks behind a wall. Like the Overwatch threat's scary, the shooting is scary, especially around elves. Elves don't like Steeljacks at all. If you split fire, you could probably pick up 2 5-mans of elves. It's just something that people have to play around. There's someone in my Discord who's currently running like 5 units of Steeljacks, where it's like 1 6-man of Daka, 2x6 melee, and like 2x3 assorted. And it's doing pretty well because hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s, rerolling 1s, wounding on 2s, rerolling 1s is pretty nice. There's just, again, the detachment that quote unquote wants to run them so badly, Hearthfire is just not playable. I think you take a mass quantity or you take 1 or 2 small units.
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like it's like fine flex to be honest from what I'm hearing. You could use it. It's okay in the right environment. So we'll put them at the bottom of fine flex. And now, Ronnie, I think I agree with you. I've actually been enjoying the shooty Steeljacks and I try them out a lot more than the melee ones. I actually almost always get more value out of these guys when I've tried them a couple of times. In Brandfast, you get the sus1 all the time, which is really nice. Usually you walk out, you shoot, they move, you overwatch, and then you end up killing like another half of the squad, depending on what you're shooting at. They picked up a full squad of Death Shroud Terminators, shooting, and then I got charged, I overwatched, and then picked up all of them except for the character. It's pretty funny. So like I think they're pretty cute. They're devastating to some other armies that have lower toughness because you're strength 6, which is really nice. But
you can also just precision out characters of Space Marines.
Yeah.
At range, which is also nice.
Yeah. I see value for Delve here as well, Tim, because I guess like if you need to clear like chaff, but you do have the Earth Shakers, so I'm not sure. How do you feel about these guys?
I mean, I don't want to be like the boogeyman in the round, but I feel like, I mean, let's be real. These guys do 4 to 5 mortals on average, and let's say 4 to 5 wounds after that. I feel the precision one is a nice thing on the paper, but I never saw someone actually let their character be sniped, or they have a character like Skygar or whatever that don't care because he has to feel no pain. I see it in terms of I want to have a threat, but I feel like once again, if people just say I disrespect it, I don't care, it loses a lot of value. It's more like the scary part. Okay, I could Overwatch to like 10 mortals. And I feel like it is the worst part for me at least, that these steel decks overall don't have a defensive profile. Like they should have 4 wounds, in my opinion. Like the 3 wounds just feel like they come out, they do something, they're dead. Because the whole meta right now is kind of ready in shooting and or melee to kill 3 wound buddies.
Yeah, that's fair. Jordan,
Yeah.
any use case for you out of these guys? I think I'm going to put them in fine
Well-
flex, but I still think they're better than the melee ones.
Oh, you think they're better than melee?
I think they're better than melee. I don't know. Is that controversial?
I like
90
the
points
melee.
for 3 melee jacks or 100 points for 5 berserks. I'm sorry.
I just don't like their damage. Like it's just not good enough for me.
It's the same damage. They're all damage 1.
It is different. It's definitely different.
All right, so where
Also,
do
tell
we
me
land?
why the melees are hitting on 2s and Dakas are hitting on 3s.
I mean,
is
honestly,
insulting.
I would say in the end you can put it on the other way around, because I think right now you will more often see people play 6-man squads of them than to play 3-man squads of the melee jacks.
Mhm.
And
True.
that's kind of the shooty jacks then have at least a scare factor, and I would say in the end you still need to conclude a bit that people don't know what Votann does in every way, because there are not that many players out there that play Votann, actually players that play Votann of a level that people start to respect you without being
Really good at
offending to
explaining
other
what Barbie
people.
does.
Yeah.
We got to give a crash course in Votann every time we step up to the table.
Nobody plays them in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. Nobody plays them here. Every time I go to an event, I'm like, do you know what Votann does? Nope. I was like, all right, let's walk through it. I don't do much. This is
For my Delph army, I've made little handouts and
Oh
give
my
it to
God.
people, because I don't have the time to declare it anymore, because I'm like, hey, I'm the only army that does something actually with the yield points. And the people is like, oh no, more things to remember.
Yeah, explaining yield points the first time around was a nightmare. That was crazy. I just said after turn 3, I'm gonna receive this resource. After turn 3, I'll stop talking about it and just I have infinite. Don't worry about it. When I was playing Needguard. Okay, so I'll put them here in fine flex. I still think the shooties are.
Yeah.
I kind of like them a little bit more. Maybe I'm biased. I think they're cooler too visually, but whatever. We
And
can
they
come
look
back to
cool.
this. They look really cool.
Yeah.
They look badass.
You got big gun. Big
They
gun,
got
go
big
bird.
guns, yeah, on the shoulder. Okay, so the Capri Defender or the Capri Sun / Rotisserie
Down.
Cannon. I think it's bad. It's
Down. Put it
trash.
down.
It's trash. I'm gonna put it ahead of Buri though.
If anybody builds them with the fucking railguns, I will come there and eat it.
Wait,
Fake railgun.
I've built. Okay, wait.
Yeah,
I
talk to
didn't
us,
glue them
Jordan,
in.
because
You
I know
can-
you
you-
were experimenting
Yeah.
with
Played
these.
with them. I didn't glue the railguns or the rotary cannons in. You can just pop them in and out like the Hekaton guns. So
I
and
had
actually,
a friendly. I had a game with a friend. He played Grey Knights, and and I played a defender with the railgun, and he just put a rhino with a tech marine there, and the railgun 1 out of 5 turns hits because smoke, fuck you. And then if he hits, rhino repairs, tech marine repairs, you're saying like, cool, I did 0 damage. The tank shock would do more. If I throw the model at you, it would do more. It's like, just don't do it.
Yeah.
Even the damage 2 is still like. I tried to play them in squads of 2 because I actually thought there was a play maybe, and also there's like a really long story about how defenders raw technically could be total counter for Vitrix and what's it called again, World Eaters.
Okay.
Um,
Indulge me
yeah,
on
I will
this.
just give you, I will give you a 1-minute talk about how to make your TO really mad.
Okay.
So basically, each ability in the game that has move shoot has the wording not allowed to do that in engagement range. The defender doesn't have it. So the defender only can make a normal move if he shoots. If you now look what is the normal move, it's only you cannot do it with an engagement range and you make a normal move. Because he has fly, he ignores the engagement range thing. And now it's a really big discussion, raw technically, if he can start a move there or not. In the end, don't do that, please, guys. Don't do that. It's just like a funny
Everyone
thing.
run
I asked-
6 defenders and make all your
Yes.
space mad.
6 defender
Yeah,
meta.
it's like in the end, it's a super deep rabbit hole. Like, and I asked the question WTC, and the people were like, "Yes, maybe, but the intent is clear. Doesn't work like that." And if
For
this
sure.
would have worked on WTC, I would say maybe. But to be real, like the one defender is just not good enough to do damage, and the one is, if you roll the one, it's not hidden anymore. And if you play two to actually do some damage, there's certainly half of the time you will not get them cannot hide them, and then that's it. So they're bad. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
The
I
only possible way I can see an argument for a defender. Hold on, hear me out before you shut me down. If you're running 3 units of bikes and you almost always throw away one of those units of bikes, just swap it for a defender. Put the rotary gun on it, so it's the 9 shots to damage 2. You have the sustains, and instead of trying to get 3 bikes with line of sight on something, you just need to get 1 point of line of sight. And then the ability to have cover is also less effective. So you just need 1 point of sight to see everything. Scouting 9, moving 12, same thing. You're already throwing it away, so might as well just do it. Go shoot, kill the thing you want to shoot because you're already throwing it away for 10 points cheaper now. And then you just kind of scoot it back or scoot it forward, do it again. That is the only time I can ever see an argument for it. However, I will not be doing it. I like having 3 units of bikes that cannot be downy. I like ignoring mods. I like grenades. It's fun.
Yep. I mean, the
Yeah.
bikes are just.
I'm also
strictly
tired of
better.
bring it down on turn 1.
Yeah.
I think the defender could use some points cuts to help it, because it's like when you look at a 70-point defender and an 80-point bike unit, right? Like you always take the bikes, right? If you have the points. The only time I've ever like painfully downgraded to a defender is because I just don't have 10 points, right? So I'll be like
I
2
feel like
bikes and then like 1 defender, but yeah, like that's it. It's the only time.
I feel like in the end it's once again one of the use cases from you cannot make it too deep because in the end it's still a vehicle. And I feel like just put the fucking ray gun from the Hekaton on a defender, and we are happy. Like give the defender 2 shots. Stay on the D3 plus 3 damage. That would be fine, but just give it 2 shots with the profile and the range of the Hekaton, and we could actually have a kind of a defensive vehicle kill unit from long range that can go out and hide back in, regardless of move shoot is good for the game. But like then I could see him that he is kind of playable. But with the rules he has right now, once again I'm sitting here and be like, okay, you only take the rotary gun, and this is like super random what happens there, and that's it.
I could see the defender getting taken at 60 points.
Yeah. Yeah, the only time I've tried it was also in Needguard because I couldn't fit 3x3 bikes. So it's just like, it's the shitty version of a bike. Like if we got bikes at home and this is what you get instead. You get a rotisserie cannon defender, which is unfortunate.
It's funny how I have done a couple things. Like it's happened 2 games now where I've like had a defender and I move my defender, like I scout 9, move 12. They're like just touching the midboard and I draw like engage. And I'm like, all right, well I'm going to shoot, and now I score engage, right? Because I move just a couple more inches. And it's really interesting how that's happened twice. Like if I had a nickel for every time it happened, like it's weird how it's happened twice, right? But that's just luck of the draw, right? That's nothing.
That's the hidden
it's nothing
data
crazy,
sheet ability.
right?
It gives you 100% chance to draw engage after you scout.
Yeah, right. Like it's not like
2 fixes on Overwatch with sustained D3 las cannons.
Yeah,
I miss it so much.
It's just a very
like
tame
falling-
data sheet, unfortunately. Like Tim was saying, like just give it the real gun. Like why are we giving it this half amount of damage output shot that hits on 4s? It's crazy. Okay, so
My prospect list was so dumb because I had so many Capricuses of all varieties, and I realized having an army of 4-up saves was not great.
yeah, it's rough. It's rough, man. That is an interesting idea to explore, though. Just a bunch of defenders and prospectors. We
It's not.
then have. It's
really not.
Well, thanks for saving me time and money. Next up, we got the Arcanist, one of the only models I didn't buy from the new book, and it seems like so far I made a wise choice. We aren't seeing him pop up at all anywhere, basically. I thought he was interesting for a data sheet, besides him killing himself most of the time after 2 activations. But I think it really comes down to points. He's a bit too expensive. Everything's too expensive, so you can't take the guy that's like a little quirky and fun to include in your list. Even though he has like Lone Op, which could be interesting, he could theoretically replace a Grimnir in some kind of combos where you still get like that protection and you still get to get his damage 3 output. What do you guys think about this? We'll start with Tim.
Yeah, Dr. Doom, like my secret hero. Make his gun 24 all the time, and I would say you play with him, but that I need to actually have a shooting range where he just don't die. On a 1 to 3, he nearly dies. Nope, not gonna happen. And also, once again, it's like, why can't Votann just have some rules? Like, why for every rule like Lone Up, once again, we need to jump around, we need to jump through a circle that is on fire and having something this and this and this. It's like, why are they so scared to just give Lone Up on a character?
Yeah, I think that's a recurring theme.
I mean, yeah, it's like I was pretty confident when we had like the first looks at him, but yeah, after some games, like I tried him in multiple games, and it's just he is way too expensive for what he is doing, and also his damage profile is not something that we need, because it's like, okay, cool, you have some damage 3 shots, what is cool, but if there's actually a unit that has a lot of damage 3 wounds, you have Berserk to kill it immediately, or you have Thunderkins to shoot it on 24 range without instantly dying, or like half of the time. And okay, for what do I need him now? Because he needs a Sagittarius to be supported to get somewhere at least, or reserve, and then you need something else. It's like you need to have that many units that support him. They just don't see him at all.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, I feel like I know the answer to this one, Ronnie, but any use case for Hearthband with this guy? Scared eyes, like, don't even...
just no. Yeah. Like Tim said, if I want damage 3, I just take in Berserks, and I take both.
Yeah.
Because the Arcanist is 65 points, right?
Yeah.
And I can just have at 24-inch range 9 shots of damage 3. And have the anti keyword, which I think is awesome. That's don't kill themselves. They don't, and they don't give up assassinate, and they strip cover, and they do a whole lot more for 15 points more.
Yeah.
Like we said, a lot of our army can just like for 10 points more I can do this. For 10 points less I can do this. And there's a reason why Thunderkin are auto include, because if you're at 80 points, you're taking Bikes or Thunderkin. And it's a pretty standard. Well, this amount of points equals you can have more of this.
Yeah. Jordan, how about Needguard?
Well, I mean, like the only benefit he would get in Needguard, like, is maybe like a turn 1 play with Hunter's Mark for reroll hits and wounds of 1 into the right profile. You know, that's pretty good. But also, you know, I don't have points. Like, I don't have points for a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah,
and yeah, I would have to get a lot of points cuts before I start looking at him and tossing him into lists, right?
Yeah.
See, if the Evaluator had the stand back up, that would be pretty nice.
That'd be interesting.
Instead of Buri.
Yeah, that would be pretty interesting.
Kills himself just to try again.
Yeah.
I would just say Buri needs to be in front of both of these, because I would take Buri before I take both of these.
Oh yeah, really? I don't know. Chad's still in chat. Chad's in chat. I'm scared to move him up a little bit here.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I would take a Defender over Buri, but I would not take an Arcanist Evaluator ever.
Yeah, I think I'd land it like this.
but honestly, none of them are going on my list ever again. I tried them, did not like them at all.
Is he better than a Defender?
I wish I had this.
Yeah, I don't know if he's. I don't think he's better than a Defender, Drew.
I was gonna say, I kind of wish he got a dash sheet rework as well, and could just join like Warriors. I wish this was a character that could join Warriors, right? You like toss him to a Sagittarius. Yeah. Like I would, but like this is like 11th edition, you know, like my hopes, right? But I wish like, you know, he could join or join Warriors at some point, toss him into a Sagittarius, and have like an okay shooting unit pop out. But
I was actually hoping, because he's one of our few dates that actually interacts with heal points, because I think he spends 1 heal point, gets sustained 1. And I was hoping that he can join like the 2 attacks and be like, hey, now the shooty jacks get sustained 1, or the Thunderkin. I felt like that because we have the army wolf with +1 to hit, they tried to give more sustained out for army wide. We have like an additional +1 to hit, and that we can play a bit more of the heal points. And I felt like that would be like just a small change that he could join shooty jacks or like Thunderkin would actually make him in a kind of interesting, maybe even playable way.
Yeah, I think that would be super interesting. I think there's a lot of ways that
Yeah.
they could kind of just like rip the cord off, right, and say, okay, let's just have some fun with this Codex and make you have some interesting
Iron Masters
decisions.
and Menhirs should be able to swap in and out for leading Steeljacks and
Yeah.
Thunderkin.
I couldn't believe that
Like,
the Iron
I-
Master couldn't attach the Steeljacks. That just seemed like it was
The
intuitive.
one
that he would do it.
strat for human tank shock, but you can't put the Iron Master with Steeljacks to do it.
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy.
I thought that
It's
would have been
kinda-
awesome.
It's interesting how like the Iron Master, part of his loan op is like if he's around Steeljacks, I think if I remember correctly, he
I
gets
think
the
it's
loan op.
Steeljacks or vehicles.
Yeah, but he can't join Steeljacks, which is like it's kind of weird. It's very weird.
It's
Yeah.
counterintuitive.
Yeah, it's a little restrictive. A similar character to the Arcanist who kind of fills the same-ish role to support warriors, which was our dream choice here for what the Arcanist could do, would be the Grimnir. He's not appearing in too many lists, I would say, outside of largely Brandfast. I think in Brandfast he's quite good, but I don't really think you guys are seeing him anywhere else. Jordan, how does this guy feel in Needguard? Have you tested him out?
No, I haven't tested him out in Needguard. Like he does, like he makes your warriors more durable. And like towards the end of the index days, right? Like they had finally let us, like they were like they removed the band-aid of the transport restrictions and let us
Yeah.
have it early, and I got to play with a Grimnir in Needguard with ignores cover from warriors
So
and
nice.
full rerolls to wound from Hekatons and sustained hits too, and like that was a unit that was tanky and could do some damage if he popped off. Now it feels like he's tanky and they've removed a lot of his damage dealing tools, and he does what he says, right? Like he makes a unit of warriors very durable. And it is still a weird unit to throw damage into. Your opponent always has to overcommit. But you are still spending 165 points on those warriors, right? So
Yeah.
and you don't have the damage that you used to. Like I think he's fine. I don't think he's like terrible.
I think he's
But-
bottom of fine if I had to pick, unless you guys sway me otherwise. Ronnie, I'll call on you next because there's a question for you from Dizard, who says, I love Grimnir bricks even in Hearthband. Ronnie had to talk me off that ledge. I still like it though. So, Ronnie, what do you think about this guy?
So I agree with you. I think it's really good in Brandfast because you can do the secure positions, hop out, stick you 2 objectives, and then just have a tanky brick.
Yep.
And then I think it's cute because people go, cool, I have a call the hard target that you have to kill.
Yep.
You can't pitch it. And like if that's your whole prerogative to just go, surprise, you have to do this. Like the one person who runs a Capricus carrier in their list just so they can say you can't pitch, bring it down. Or all my characters are off the table, but you can't get assassinate.
Yeah.
I think the brick is survivable, and I said this in the initial look. Having the 4-up, 5-up, 5-up. The brick is a lot, like you have to put a lot into that unit to kill it. And for 165 points, Grimnir's 65,
Yeah, he's
75?
65. I think he's
Yeah.
65.
For 165
Yeah.
points, that's a pretty tanky unit. But I see it 1 out of every 20 lists. I see it in Brandfast somewhat consistently, but I don't
Yeah.
see that many Brandfast lists anymore.
Yeah. I agree with that completely. Tim, how about, I don't think that you take this guy in Delve for any reason.
I'm for Delph not at all. I feel like that we don't have the points for this fun thing, because if I play warriors, I would all the time get 20 points in addition, just get a Sagitar to get 5/5.
Yeah.
And I see that in Brentford maybe the 10-man squad, but even there I would probably only play the 10-man squad, because in the end it's still enough to get on 2 points.
Yeah.
And if the enemy actually roll out the shooting to clear me off, he will still do that. I think it's like a nice idea if you play like multiple squads there, but I just feel like that the warriors are just too slow to get somewhere actually. And then if I'm in a decision between Sagittar and Grimnir, like I said, I would always go for the Sagittar if I need to play it.
Yeah.
Don't see the Grimnir, honestly.
It makes sense. I think as a Brandfast player, I do take a Grimnir. I'm playing around with 2 because you take one with a 10 and you take one with a 5. And I find it just gives you like a nice skirmish piece. But even then, I would not say he's the MVP of Brandfast. So I would even say keep him in fine flex. So I'll keep him at the bottom of fine flex. If you got the points, it'd be cool, but you're so tight on points, so you're either looking for another Sagittar to split warriors, or you're playing Brandfast where you'll take him in. So we'll keep him here. Okay. Next up, we got just 3 left in this row. So, Tim, has the sun risen yet? Are you still with us? Are you feeling sleepy?
It's fine. It's fine. I mean, to be fair, like the next 2 we see, I mean, they're different, but I personally would say they're both Detachment MVPs.
Yeah.
Because I could, I mean, maybe just the Carl and the champion, no, but I don't think that there's really much to talk about there. My opinion, at least.
Yeah,
I see the champion is taking way less than the Carl because the champion has not that good synergies anymore. I still don't understand why he has +1 to advance and can't lead a unit that has advanced charge. But this is something else. And I don't see that you play 5-man squads. That you play 5-man squads of Hearthguard because with the champion they get way too expensive to do something. And the 10-man squads, in my opinion, always want to have the Carl because the leaflets just in shooting are way more likely for the damage. And in the end, of course, the 8-inch with reroll is more likely to have the 9-inch with reroll, but like having this, I think it's like 13% or so, you get a better chance to actually hit the charge. I still think that shooting is better with the Carl overall, also with the like Overwatch lethal hits and whatsoever.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I tried both. I tried both guys leading a 10. I tried an E-Champ leading a 5. I really liked E-Champ leading a 5 in Hearthband. I thought that was sweet. You just get like this cute little mess something up like a Dreadnought. That felt great. I do actually find... So I tried the Call in Hearthbound with a 10-man, and with the lethal hits, it was insane because I overwatched with lethal hits on AP4 and picked up 10 Hell Blasters, which was insane. They all died to the shoot back, but it was insane. And I think when I was talking with Jordan, we ran the math, and it actually came out on top to have the E-Champ lead the Hearthguard if you're taking Needguard and you're running the enhancement for +1 to wound, reroll, and 1s to wound. So I thought that was pretty interesting too, that in one detachment there's actually better incentive to take the E-Champ over the Call leading the same unit. Jordan, maybe you want to talk more about that one?
Yeah, I mean, like, my opinion, I've always run the E-Champ, right, in Needguard. But that's also because of the enhancement, right? The enhancement specifically is buffing the wound roll to where lethal hits is not as valuable in all the... basically every profile that you're swinging into. But in Hearthband, you probably still want calls for the most part, right? Combo of like, because you don't have the enhancement for +1 to wound, so lethals is still getting a lot of value. But I was gonna say, Tim, you mentioned like the E-Champ doesn't have like his rule is +1 advance and +1 charge. And it's like, well, what unit does he lead? He's like, all right, he leads Hearthguard. And it's like, did Hearthguard have Assault at some point? And then they just like removed it. Like they were just like, all right, well, we're not gonna give Hearthguard advance and charge, and we're not gonna give them advance and shoot. And it's like, well, are we gonna change the E-Champ? No.
I thought that was weird too. I thought that was strange.
I mean, it just worked the same way where like his enhancement for Deep Strike, where you're just sitting there and be like, oh cool, he gets Deep Strike if he leads a unit that has Deep Strike. Like thanks for nothing.
So ridiculous. Yeah. I think, Jordan, didn't we speculate he was initially designed to lead Berserks because they didn't have a leader and he had +1 to advance?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was like, because in my mind, I've like played this over and over, and I'm like, maybe in Delve at some point they were like, all right, at least in Delve the E-Champ can lead Berserks, And they're like, absolutely not. That's way too strong. We can't have Tim winning worlds. and then it's like,
There's
yeah.
one small thing I would consider right now for Delph especially, and let's see what the point drop that. And that in Delph I could see him be played with the damage 4 enhancement, because then it's AP3 damage 4, so he can actually be a threat to Vitrix Guard. Will it help? Probably not, but it's nice to mention. I would say overall, the characters are still nice because they get the +1 AP overall. Having AP3 weapons actually helps them a lot into a lot of targets.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Yeah,
totally valid.
I was gonna say the same thing as like I could see him running solo, just messing people up. Pile driver enhancement with the axe.
Yeah, I think that's totally equals to damage 4, right? Did they? Yeah, did they increase it to damage 3 in the book?
No, it's like you
spend
can
yield
spend
point,
2
right?
yield points, but for each yield point you get +1 damage.
Okay.
So you could run a card with damage 5 if something bad happens there. So
Yeah.
you can one tap a Deathwing Knight, what is fun, but
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty cool. So I think these guys are going to stay in fine flex because it seems like you could take them. You might inside of obviously Hearthbound. You will take one of these if you're running Hearthguard. But I'm happy keeping them at the top of fine flex.
But I still feel that the Carl is the detachment MVP, because if you have a detachment where you run the half guard, what is in my opinion half band and Needguard, and maybe Brandfast, but I would say most case these two
With
you
the
will
sus
pick
2
him.
enhancement.
Yeah, and if you don't take them, you will never pick him. Like he
Yeah.
is, if you play half brand, you play the Carl. Else you will never pick him. I mean, there's a really small rumor going around with playing him on in Delph with 5 warriors that have deep strike, but people that tried it, I will hit with my hammer. So
Your pile driver.
I mean, no. It's like if you want to try it, go for it. I just don't see the points, but it's something else.
Yeah,
Okay.
my logic is if you run 10, you're running a call. If you're running 5, if you're running 1 squad, like I could see you not leading them because a 5-man with deep strike can be difficult to screen. But I think you'd run the hammer champ because, like you said, he's a nice little 200-point mess something up unit. I had a 5-man with the hammer champ, heroic a land raider, and flip it.
Wow.
And Hearthband because it was AP3 and AP4 and AP2. And it was granted they didn't have the detachment for AOC, but they tank shocked, killed my berserks because they were afraid of my berserks. And then the Hearthguard completely flipped the Land Raider, and it was awesome.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah, he's a powerhouse. He's an absolute powerhouse. The amount of times I'll say that I roll 1 on his mortals, though, is kind of a pain, but he's still a powerhouse. I love him.
But when you roll that 6...
When you roll that 6,
when
baby,
you roll that 6...
And your opponent just goes, that's so cracked, that's so OP, and you're like, no, buddy, this is mediocrity at its finest. And I'm going to hit you
mortals
with it.
do 6 damage to Mortarion, just eat it.
Yeah. Okay, so last one of this fine flex rule here, we have the Sagi, who was kind of stripped of all its former glory, but still obviously has a use here, I think, especially if you're taking warriors. They kind of go hand in hand. I don't think you run these in Delve, even if you're running 5-man Berserks, because you're just deep striking them, so you don't really need the delivery of a Sagittar, unless I'm wrong here, Tim, but I don't think you really need them in Delve.
Not at all. Like, you have deep strike, that's the better Sagittar.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the better Sagittar. I think they're fine still. I think they're fine. I don't think they're ECOG tier. They have a role to play. If you take warriors, like, they split them up. It's always nice to have. Delivers your warriors safely somewhere. It's the old trick of drive a Sagittar up, 2 activations to get rid of me off this objective. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean that's what they do, right? They could be cheaper. Until that day, they're fine. They've had quite a fall from grace, right? But like they lost a lot of rules. But
yeah,
as long as you play warriors, you will most likely have them in your list, and if you don't play warriors, you will not have them in this list.
Yeah,
That's basically the goal. I would say just the data sheet alone, I would say Super Wars, but the ability to like split warriors helps it.
Yeah,
but like the damage output is just not that.
It's
yes,
pitiful.
Keep going,
it's
please.
pitiful. Roddy, Hearthbound, you don't take these guys.
What do you mean? I take one.
You take
in
one,
fact,
yeah?
I take one, and I put the Mater autocannon on it.
Oh, baby, that's spicy. That's spicy.
Well, it's like it's 9 shots of damage too, and then it's like half a land fort. So it's got the 6 shots at 712 assault sustains, and then you have the 3 shots at 612 sustain 2 twin linked. And the fact that you can advance the Sagittar, disembark the squad that's inside of it, and just delete a 10-man.
Yeah.
It's not like just delete a 10-man of Space Marines.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice because you get the reroll once to hit, reroll once to wound on the Warriors. You get the reroll once to wound on the Sagittar. You have sustained hits on like 3 of the profiles. You have good volume. And it's just something that they actually have to allocate to. Like, cool, Sagittar died. Oh well. But it messed up your 10-man of Space Marines that you're really expecting to put out. And it's not going to put out anymore.
That's
Got
fair.
Put down is what happened.
That's fair, man. I take 2 in Brandfast. I like them. Still, that delivery mechanism. And the Matter Cannon's interesting. Maybe I got to play around with that, actually, because that's pretty cool. Okay, so that's another roll down, boys. And our last one here is there's just 3 data sheets. And I know Tim stayed up. This was not intentional, but I know Tim is here awake just for these 3 data sheets. So let's start with the Earthshakers. I just bunched them both into one because I think you just take the Tremors all the time, the damage 1/1.
Yeah.
Which is a shame that you don't have both on the same data sheets. That's kind of crazy, but still, I think it was Uther who actually had said that you almost had to like faint when you realized it's not both on the same one for the number of shots.
The first game I did, I shot with both profiles, and I was like, after the game, wait a second. Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. That's too powerful. We can't have that. So I was always a big advocator for the artillery piece. I don't think, maybe it's just my meta. I think maybe I overhyped it a bit. It's good into some armies. It helps in some matchups.
Yeah.
But in others, it just is dead weight, is what I have found. In most of them, it's just dead weight. Some of them, it skews so well in your favor, but I think in other ones, it's kind of dead weight.
It's one of the most like, I've played games against like orcs. It's Drukhari. It's been like the Earthshakers are very matchup dependent, right? Like they are super strong in some matchups, and then I played games against knights, and it's like they never did a single wound, they never forced a single battle shock chest to fail. Like they didn't do anything in that matchup, and it's just they feel very swingy. In Delve, they're stapler, right?
Yeah.
But outside of it, they're extremely matchup dependent. So
Hey, Prospect likes them.
Prospect does like them. You kind of
yeah,
need them in Prospect.
Yeah, Prospect does. Yeah.
But Prospect needs a lot of love too, so...
They need to make it where everything actually affects monsters and vehicles.
Yeah.
Like, not necessarily the -2 to move, but giving them the assailed and pinned keyword.
Yeah.
Or at least assailed. Like, not pinning vehicles, I understand, but, like, I kind of want full hit rerolls into vehicles.
It's too restrictive.
Like, we were talking about Thunderkin earlier. Like, the 6-mana Bolterkin with full hit rerolls for 1 CP is pretty nice.
Yeah.
And then I think there's also the +1 wound enhancement. That's very restrictive because, again, it's like assailed.
Yep.
And none of it affects vehicles besides taking another enhancement to assail something else. Like, you're jumping through way too many hoops. And, like, that detachment could be so good if they just fixed that one thing.
Yeah.
Assailed affects vehicles.
It's not
Pinned
intuitive.
affects
It's not intuitive either because it doesn't carry over, right? So like one keyword doesn't equate having both keywords, which is really bad for some of the enhancements. Like there's a big enhancement that lets you pin a vehicle, but then the vehicle doesn't gain assailed, so you can't actually use your strats on it. And then the +1 to wound enhancement, you look at that and you go, okay, you know, like my detachment is really like focused on dealing damage to infantry. I struggle into vehicles. I'm going to run this +1 to wound enhancement. And you say, oh wait, I could only use this on assailed targets, which are not vehicles. So it's just like, if there's just too many, like you said, too many hoops to jump through, which is problematic. But it's super fun, which is a real damn shame because it's totally different from anything else we have.
I would say Prospect is dead because they killed the double reactive move.
Yeah, that too.
This is something we can maybe talk about with the detachment.
Yeah.
So, can I start, Matt?
Yeah.
Can you let me off?
Yeah. It's all you now. I was gonna hand it over to you.
So, I know it's a bit controversial, but in my opinion, each Votann list should have one Earthshaker. Each list, just for the fact that against World Eaters and Guard, you have a 50-50 roll that they will not Blood Surge move, that they will not use threats, and having a Space Marine not be able to use AOC in the correct way is a game changer. Having a Guard not be able to do Fight on Death is a game changer. And I see the point 100% that people are like, yeah, but there's matchups where it will not do anything. But let's go a bit into the matter. Because we said Knights right now. Okay, let's go for CK Knights. What is the problem with CK Knights? The problem is on one side that the CK Knight can pop a 4-up invul. Of course, if it's only one big knight you can see, he will pop it, doesn't matter, but like maybe you will see two of them. When you play Delphic example or some melee armies, you can stop him from using AOC on a point, and here also like they will do enough damage that you can actually do enough damage with a 5-man Berserk squad with one type of small Warlock. Or in my opinion, one of the best parts is you can stop defense stronghold with the enemy because you just battle shock him. Or you can just say, I get my +1 to hit bonus if I'm in Fortify because you don't control the objective anymore. I think the use case of I can battle shock is such a big horizon where you can just say, okay, I have a 50 because, or let's say it differently. In my opinion, right now, Votann is a lot of times a game where you try to go for a lot of risky plays, and if on the 4 risky plays, one of them works, you are fine. If 2 of them works, you are winning. If one of them works, you are fucked. This is at least my opinion right now. Maybe also because it's stealth, but like this is how I see it there. And the other part, what I see with Earthshakers is I want to have something on my home base marker that will not die easily and that can 5 turns do something. And each time when I played warriors, like in the index one or also in the new one, they most of the times just stay on the objective markers for 4 turns. If the enemy has something to threaten it, because if it has nothing to threaten it, you don't need the warriors anyway. Because then the Mimir could just hold it. But if he has something to threaten it, they stand there most of the times in the last turn or like turn 3, they will jump forward. And the Earthshakers always feel like they start in a kind of offensive position, but still screen quite easily. They shoot 4 turns or 3 turns, and after turn 3, they can start moving forward if you need it, or they can still stay. And they also make us to play against Eldari, what is one of the top meta competitors right now. They make us kind of playable into Atmec, what will hopefully get a nerf, but we will see. They make us a lot better playable into World Eaters. They make us a lot better playable in Marines. Like for me, it's basically like I think a lot of people just underestimate how good battle shocks are, because ability not doing strats, not doing blood search moves is crazy. Like you can fuck up whole plans from the enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you have the ability to do
really,
something.
It's really good in Delph, right? Because battle shocks, like the amount of strats that you can turn off with forced battle shocks, it's really important for combat, right? There's so many combat strats, and it's not as important in like the shooting detachments. But like, yeah, I mean, it's just really good in Delph, right? There's a lot of synergy.
I wish I had I do wish it was a bit cheaper. I wish everything was a bit cheaper because I would like to take them, and they do have
of course.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
it's tough. It's tough. It's really tough. But yeah, go ahead, Ronnie.
I agree. So 100% agreeing with the battle shock aspect of it. Like, don't get me wrong, in the elves, they'll actually deal some damage. And you probably won't battle shock them. Like 6-up leadership checks, like, yeah, it's kind of 50-50 because it's gonna be a 7-up. But like the 7-up armies, that have to make those leadership checks, like the mirror match, orcs, depending on what it is, like failing those leadership checks is pretty detrimental to them, and you could pick up a full squad. So like in Hearthband, like having AP4 is awesome. But when they have cover and they have AOC, then that AP4 goes down to AP2, or a lot of our other stuff is AP2 goes down to AP0. It downplays our damage output, but I also agree on the fact that it's a little too expensive. I think it's a nice tech piece. I don't think it's meh ecog. I definitely think it's fine flex. But personally, I'm not going to spend 110 points on it. Because, again, I chose the Warrior Sagittar route for the sticky utility pieces. And then I go more Thunderkin route for tech as opposed to Earthshakers for tech.
I would probably say it's actually a Detachment MVP because we have 2 detachments where we talked about where it's like you need
Right.
to play it. And there's other detachments where you can play, but it's not that important depending on how much you believe in your dice that the enemy will fail its battle shots.
Yeah, that's fair. So I think we could put the Detachment MVP on this, and I think everywhere else, it's fine flex. Like, I think there's a totally valid use case for this if you put one in your list.
Yes.
Like, it's not something to laugh about. It exists for a very good reason. It's a coin toss, though. That's the problem. But it exists for a good purpose. Okay, the last 2. Tim, are you getting excited? Now, I have you on record.
Always.
I have you on record saying, fuck Berserks. How has your opinion changed since then?
Outside of those, fuck Berserks. I'm still saying this. Like,
Stop it, Tim. Tim, I love Berserks. I still love them. I think they're the greatest thing to exist. They're awesome. Outside of Delph, they're great. Inside of Delph,
like,
okay.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I will go a bit quicker because times that like, and don't be too biased. So, I still say, okay, each Overwatch can now threaten them to death if they're not in Delph. Because there we have like this little thing that's called Revive. And I see that the...
It turns off Overwatch.
Yeah, maybe not. Who knows? Just don't tell your enemy. Shoot me. Do it. No, it's like I feel like the only other detachment where I could see them have a play is Halfband because Wound Rolls of 1 on hammers still makes them kind of even way into vehicles than they make it in Delph. But outside of it, I just don't see the use case because I think it's too expensive because you always need a transport for them. You cannot have them run solo somewhere, most cases at least. And if they don't have access to any rerolls, there are a coin flip of a coin flip of a coin flip, in my opinion, because most of the time, 15 attack, 7 hit, 5 wound, enemy will make 2 saves or something. In return, he kills like 2 to 3, depending on the enemy unit, of course. It's just... They are not meh ecoc tier, probably not, but I would say they are a Detachment MVP, especially of Delph, and if we take Delph out because we cannot put everything in Detachment MVP, I would say they are a fine flex, but on the lower tier. I agree with Ronnie there that in the end it's more like a question of which detachment you play, if you want to have 3 steel decks with melee or do you want to have 5 berserks. But I would say in the end, if you have enough power in terms of I can shoot vehicles to death, and we're just looking at the side of, okay, I want to clear infantry with it, I don't know what actually is more efficient, the steel jacks or the berserks.
Okay.
I can agree with Detachment MVPs. I will say they are kind of decent in Needguard being able to pump up AP. Just saying, cool, these Berserks will drop a big knight. Wounding it on 3s, rerolling 1s with AP4, you don't get a save. Has a damage output of potential 45 damage, and then if you just take it 2/3 and 2/3.
Remember, they have 5-up invos all the time if they want. Because DK Knights is the only thing that's played, to be fair, in the meta right now, and they will just go for the back then.
Right, but like, there's still people who decide to play like Imperial Knights and whatnot. But I could see them as Detachment MVPs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're so strong in Delph, right? Like, Delph gives them so many tools to play really good Warhammer. And outside of Delph, they're not nearly as important. So.
Yeah, I tried playing them in every other detachment, and they kind of just never do enough for me. They're super inconsistent, which is a huge issue, and they're very vulnerable, super swingy under survivability. Sorry, Roddy, I tried it in Hearthband, and I could not kill a 6-wound Dreadnought with 5 Berserks with Mauls. I just could not get through Armor Contempt. Couldn't get through it. So it's just swingy, man. I like them still. People are scared. People are terrified of them. You tell them like what the stats are, and people are like, they are cautious around them, but they're obviously much better inside of Delve, where they're meant to be, underground. And I think in the other detachments, I think Hearthband for sure, you have some nice buffs, damage 4, extra AP. No extra AP, sorry, damage 4, which is great. And everywhere else, probably bottom of like fine flex. So I have 2 of them. I forgot I had more pictures here. So for the ones that were predictably detachment MVPs, I put Berserks here for Delve, Warriors here for Brandfast, and then we have their
And I
counterparts
misspoke.
here.
I didn't mean reroll ones for Needguard. Just AP4 damage 3 is wild.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'll put them in
Like
fine
index.
flex,
Quit
probably
yelling at me, Drew.
under or above the melee, somewhere around here. Okay, boys, the last data sheet that we have left, the data sheet that spurred this whole review and spurred our little meme trailer at the start. Did you get to see it, Tim? I hope you saw the trailer we made.
I
for
wasn't
this.
even there.
You were wait.
Oh, you
Oh,
mean
it
on
was
Trey,
playing.
yeah,
It was playing on loop for like the
Yeah.
last 7 hours.
yeah, I saw it. I just noticed I saw you guys talking about it and put it there, and I was like, I had like my drum maniac at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, no, they can't do that. They can't do that.
Oh my god, yeah, I remember that. I think that's when you hopped on too. You were like, "What are you guys talking about, you idiots?"
We're finishing up
I
the
was like,
stream
already-
and then hops in 3 hours later.
Yes, I hated the
So, on behalf of all of us, we were wrong, except for Tim. But now, to be fair, we didn't have Hearthguard yet, so we didn't know what was coming. And at the time, I think with the information we had, maybe we were still too harsh to put them in ECOG tier. But I think now, universally, I think they're like strong use case. I think in some instances they're auto include MVP. Well, obviously for Hearthband. Maybe we'll start with the Hearthband Pro here, Roddy. How have they changed your life?
They're glorious. They are back. So I didn't play Hearthband in Index, but I remember the issue that I was talking about when we were rating them was they took the entire detachment of Hearthband and then threw it into Hearthguard, which giving them the reroll ones they hit, giving them the rapid fire, taking away strength. But then they were like, cool, we're going to give you your strength back, and we're going to give you sustained hits in addition to this. So then it just made like the 10-man with like the +1 wound and judgment tokens and whatnot, but now it's the 10 that have rapid fire already built in, 20 shots of plasma, sustain, lethals, rerolling ones to hit, rerolling ones to wound, getting increased AP and melee, and it's just like they're awesome. I can see arguments playing them in other detachments, especially in like Needguard and Brandfast with like sustain 2 and then giving the +1 wound in Needguard, and I could see some just 5-man unled deep striking. Like I could see a lot of use for them. But I see them getting the most value in multiple units in Hearthband. But like I will say the most damage output I've seen a 10-man of Hearthguard is Needguard, sustain 2 lethals with +1 wound.
Yeah, it's nasty.
It's pretty wild, especially with +1 wound also working in combat, I believe.
Yep.
They do quite a lot of damage, but if you're taking multiple units, Hearthband is probably the best way to take them, and it's great. I love it.
100% agree, man. They are so fun, and they fill such an important role with having access to Deep Strike. So, Jordan, how have they been doing for you? We've kind of alluded to this already, but in Needguard, would you say they're kind of essential there?
I mean, yeah, like they're the best unit to put Oathband Speculator on, and I feel like that's part of the point of the Needguard detachment is playing with Oathband Speculator. They're pretty good, and they're really good in Needguard, right? They benefit from almost all the strats really well, like fallback, shoot, and charge, really good on them. Sustained hits 2, really good on them. Extra AP, really good on them, right? Like they use almost every strat in Needguard really well. In Hearthband, once again, they use pretty much every strat really well. They get a lot of buffs from Hearthband. You take more, because I think in Needguard you just take the 10-man brick and then you move on, right?
Yeah.
You take other data sheets. In Hearthband, you're gonna take a lot more units. I don't know. I'm interested to hear y'all's opinions. I don't know if I like the 5-mans. I wonder if it's like always 10-mans. I haven't really done too much testing though. Like with just testing either just like only 10s or like 2 10s and a 5. But
I've seen a lot of different lists with people running 2x10, 1x5, or just 2 10s. I like a lot of issues people have with Thunderkin is they don't get up the table. With the way that I have it, I can put all of my Hearthguard in Deep Strike with attached characters, and then put 2x3 Thunderkin in reserves, so they can walk on and do the damage they need to, go on where they need to go. Because they tend to be able to walk on a lot more effective because they're too busy trying to screen out 6 inches behind them that they're not overly focused on the 9 inches in front of them. But the 2x10, 1x5 means that you're probably putting 1x5 on the table or 1x10 on the table just so you can have enough in reserves. I do think the 2x10 has a lot of damage output, but then you start creeping into how many points is too many points to invest into multiple hammers, because we got to keep in mind that there still are 2 up, 5 up, and you can only spend the strat one time per phase, and then like they can just die. Like there's still 2 wounds apiece. Like tank shot grenades, like you were making the joke about Buri just dying to tank shot grenades. Like JPI can just mess up like 5 Hearthguard because they decided to throw a grenade and charge you.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh cool, I'm T5, awesome. I'm a 2 up save. Mortals don't give a crap about your 2 up save.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. For Tim, what about in Delve?
Oh, especially PC Demon Prince is just belly bumping you.
Yes.
I would actually put the half guard into auto include, because bikes are the same case. They're even in Delve, they are playable, and I see this to play them. I personally don't think we have the points, but this is something different. I would say every Votann list that is not Delve has them in them, at least. At least the list I remember right now. And even there it's playable. I would personally say 5-man squads are still kind of nice too, but it really comes down to, are you gonna play Hekatons there? Because I always feel like a 5-man squad in a Hekaton is a real bumper to enemies that just want to push into you, because you can just say, cool, here are my guys, they can do something, deal with it. And also 5-mans are still like, they can deep strike somewhere, and you can still like throw them a bit more cheap away. This is also, my brain is still like, everything that costs points I want to reduce as good as possible. That's also why I don't like the E-champion 5-man squads, but this is just something I think it basically comes down to, do I have Hekatons then? And if I have Hekatons, I want to play 5-man. If I don't have Hekatons, I want to play 10-man more than 1.
Yeah.
I would say this is the main part, because somewhere the points are just gonna get used.
Yep. Okay. So
definitely
auto
take less
include.
if you're running lanes. I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah.
So I'll put them in auto include here with everything else at the top, and then I also have Detachment MVP, of course, for Hearthband, because without Hearthguard, you're not running Hearthband. Cool. So that wraps up. There's some glitched Hekaton here at the bottom. Don't know what he's doing here, but that wraps up the tier list, which is pretty nice. I think basically everything here changed from what we originally had, which is kind of crazy. Except for the Thunderkin, of course, and the Jaegers, but everything else kind of moved around, which was pretty nice to see. I think I'm pretty happy with this. You guys all good? We quickly do the detachments, and then
I will say Hearthguard should probably go down to like strong use case. I wouldn't auto include them in every list.
I'll put them up here.
But do you see lists right now that don't have them, except of Delve?
I'd say Brandfast.
Because I don't
take
remember
them.
any list.
Yeah, they're in every list, right, outside of Delph. I
never saw a list that doesn't take them. To be fair, that was kind of that one events or gets in the range of being a good there.
So it's like bottom auto include, top of strong use. I'll put it here. I'm just gonna run through the wash.
Like I said, I could see top of strong use.
I'll be right back, boys.
Because like when I think auto include, I think when I start building a list, that's where I start. I don't start with Hearthguard. Like Hearthguard are a cool tech piece to have with the 5-man with the deep strike, or a detachment specific giving the call the 10-man. But I don't see every list going, cool, I'm gonna run Hearthguard because I can.
Yeah, but I mean, we also not every list runs with Hekatons, as you prove yourself, and also not every
Right.
list starts with spikes as well. So for me, the auto include feels a bit more like it can be included in every list without being something that brings you down, because in every detachment you can play it, and in most
Right.
cases it even gets played. This is like at least I would see the tier.
Yeah, I could see that, but like the argument with that is just about everything here on this list, besides like maybe 3 or 4 things, is you could put in every list. Because that's the argument I was making earlier. Is everyone's doing well with everything, like besides weirdos running 3 Arcanists,
Yeah, or 6 defenders,
6 defenders.
or 3 times Buri. I mean, if anybody would place 3 Buris, I would allow them.
Yeah, if you want to run 3 Buries, like go for it. Like I'll try. I've played against Custodies with 3 stand back up dreadnoughts or Demon Princes doing the flip to 6 and stand back up and whatnot. I've played against that. I'll do it again and again. And you're absolutely right, Goose. This is all going to change in like the next 2 weeks because Data Slate's going to happen. And then we're going to be back here saying Buri's the greatest thing to exist at 70 points.
Oh, Buri at 70 points would be interesting.
We will see Hekatons having enough space for 10 men because of Hearthguard and getting, what's it called again? The ramp where you can charge after moving.
Ooh.
Oh, I've literally said this so many times. It's like, I don't know why we went up to 240 points, but there's Land Raiders with 4 las cannons and Assault Ramp. Like,
yeah,
come on.
The points don't make
Give me
a lot of
Assault Ramp.
sense. What about Sagittars having a 3-man transport capacity for Steeljacks?
It would help as well, or Thunderkin, or whatever it's like.
Yeah.
No, just go even more. Just take the gun from your little thing that was magnetized, throw it in the trash can, you get 10 space.
Dude. That'd be great.
Oh, we get to do what Chosen get to do, which is pile all of our elites into one little tiny 75, 80 point transport. Awesome. I would gladly take that.
They all go into carrier. All right, boys. So I got here on the screen the last little bit here for the detachments. So I got here Persecution Prospect, Needguard, Hearthband, Delve, Brandfast, and Hearthfire. There you go. I was like, I'm sure there's another one.
We can start with Hearthfire is made by an ECOG.
Yeah, so Hearthfire is made by an ECOG, unfortunately. It has the worst version of every rule that exists in the game, unfortunately, for some reason, which basically killed it on arrival.
Don't test the rule.
It doesn't. What is the detachment rule? You get like sustain 1 or something?
No. The detachment rule is you get additional yield points.
Oh my god.
That's Needguard. Hearthfire is you get the reroll
once. But only in shooting, not in melee.
It's
Okay. So I mean, I have
Since
meta monster.
I'm gonna reread this.
Yeah, give us a little
Hearthfire
read
instantly.
I have here for tiers, I have Meta Monster, Top Contender, Extremely Viable, Underperformer, made by an ECOG. The problem is I don't think Votann have any Meta Monster detachments, to be honest, but we could,
Alright, so
we could pretend.
The attachment rule for Hearthfire. At the end of your command phase, you gain 1 yield point for each objective marker you control that is not within your deployment zone, and has 1 or more Iron Masters and or Menmir Strategist models from your army within range of it to a maximum of 2 yield points.
Yeah.
Wow. In your shooting phase, each time a Brokir, Ironkin, Steeljack, or Arcanist Evaluator unit from your army is selected to shoot, you can spend a yield point. If you do, until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. The only synergy is the Iron Master gets reroll wounds of 1. So then you might as well just play Hearthband.
They really had no idea what to do with yield points, eh? Like that's kind of crazy.
They really didn't. I hope they have a better idea now.
Yeah, like the yield point should be like a little shop like a Dari has for everything. Like I would love that. But just one quick question here: do we look into this list, the meta that we know right now, or the meta that we think will come with the Hearthguard? This example coming right after Borge.
I think it's already started shaping the meta. They've already won several GTs.
Yeah, let's talk about what's coming up, because I think we're gonna see it in like a week.
I mean, if that's the case, put Halfbrand up there, and maybe Needguard and everything else can go underperform. We are done.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't want to sound bad, but it's like, okay, you have 10-man squads of Halfguard that can maybe one-tap the squad, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, how do you see Delve working in the new meta, Tim? I feel like Delve would be pretty good too.
Well,
No,
so
I mean, yeah. Sorry. Just like
Uh,
let's be real and make it a bit more like it should be concerned. So uh, I don't know. Do we want to start with Delph or with what do we want to start here?
Let's start with okay. So we put Hearthband, not Hearthband, Heartfire in ECOG
Yeah,
tier.
like half
It's
right.
bad. It sucks. It's a meme. Let's say why we think Hearthband is good, and this will help. So now we kind of see both extremities, and we can kind of slot everything else in.
So yeah, that I would just take the lead here. Haha, Ronnie. You can say something like he's the expert, I'm the noob.
It's okay.
I
I'll
don't,
correct you,
just no
Tim.
hammer. Yeah, that thank you, just no hammer. So I think Hearthband right now is one of our two main detachments in the meta that was and the meta that will come because it has everything it needs. It has really good shooting with AP4. It has the ability to just lead some units. I would still say if you play hackathons with the ray guns, it gets pretty good because the hackathons there with the ray guns have really high ratio of hitting and wounding things. And overall, the strats are kind of fine too. The only problem I see is that they have an auto lose game into Atmec, and Atmec will get nerfed, hopefully, fingers crossed. So the worst condition that is out there right now will probably get killed, and then once again they are the only data sheet that can actually or have a chance of killing like 5 Vitrix Guard, maybe even 6, depending on do you get no cover and everything, bullshit and whatever. So this is my opinion why they should be top contender.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. They've always been the Marine killer list of Detachment, I should say. Jordan?
I was gonna say the Victrix guard unit coming out really bumps up Hearthband over Delph in a lot of ways, right? Because like I think Berserks really struggle. Like Victrix just love to fight Berserks, right? That you can Armor of Contempt. Now your Berserks are only AP
No, you're
one into
battle shock, you
Victrix.
cannot.
Oh yeah. I mean, it depends. Yeah. It depends, right?
Ha ha ha.
You know,
We got
it
you.
does depend. It does depend, but I think it's a little bit easier to fight Victrix with Hearthband specifically.
Okay.
But I do like Delvas a lot too. But we're talking about Hearthband, so.
All right. Ronnie, how do you feel about Hearthband in this new
Um,
emerging meta?
Tim said it perfectly. As much as I hate to say it. Hearthguard are just so effective into a lot of things in the meta right now, especially with like the 10-man. The 10-man is like a delete button for like the most variety of things. It can handle hordes, it can handle 2-up saves, it can handle vehicles. Like again, like it's it's a brawling monster. It kills just about anything, especially if you shoot and charge it. It'll drop a lot of things.
Mhm.
And then just having the consistency of rerolling once to wound, especially with things that say, "Cool, you're -1 to wound." Um, it's just very consistent. It has all the tools it needs to kill a marine, to kill a vehicle, to kill a monster. The only thing I could see it potentially having issues with is if we start seeing EC become like the meta. Because of Triple Demon Prince, I will say Hearthband struggles really hard into that because they're really fast, they screen very well, they -1 damage, they do so much damage, not even funny. And I mentioned before tank shock, belly bump, grenades. If they just spend 2 CP every turn, they're gonna pick up a 10 mana Hearthguard every turn.
Yeah. No, I think that's a fair assessment. Okay, I think that makes a lot of sense. So we'll put them in top contender. They have the best shot, and it sounds like there's a lot of concern still despite that. So we'll see where everything else lands. Curious about Delve. So I would have thought Delve would have been okay into the upcoming aggressive meta that we were going into. Is it because of the reactive move on the Victrix? Do they have reactive move? I think they have
I would
reactive
say
move too, eh?
I would say Ronnie, you can start because I stole your detachment. You can steal mine.
Good, because I'm just gonna trash Delph. No, I was kidding. So I play Delve differently. I don't play forts. I play 15 Thunderkin in mine. I play 15 Thunderkin and 35 Berserks in my Delve list. I'm just kind of riding the fort list or the fort list train. Because just having the variety of infantry just feels nice. But no, coming into the meta, I think Delve will do okay. depending on the detachment that the Vitrix Guard are using. If it's Gladius, they can only react to move one thing. So if they're react moving and they are fighting on death, that's a lot of CP. But the Earthshakers should be able to battle shock things at the -1. And as Tim said, you're taking probably 2 units of Earthshakers in Delve lists. You're also taking plenty of Berserks that are strength 5 or strength 7 with is it +1 wound or is it the full wound rerolls, the strat?
I think it's full wound rerolls.
Full Wuji rolls.
Yeah.
So that's also pretty good for things that want to make you -1 wound. Damage 3 does kind of suck into 4 wound dudes, but at the same time they just do plenty of damage with plenty of volume. Also, if they only kill you down to like 2 dudes, you can just drop a bunch of yield points and reanimate the unit. Also, you're not really worried about them blood surging into you because you just 3-up fight on death. But no, I think Delve is not gonna struggle too hard, but I don't think it's gonna be preferred into Vitrix. Like I think Hearthband is definitely better into them and into the upcoming meta, but I think Delve is still top tier.
Okay. I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm sorry. I'm just reading my
jump in there?
YouTube. I think I might have dropped. Yeah, jump in, Tim. I'm just trying to fix my stream thing. Something weird's happening.
I mean, just fix it and then I will talk and like we can.
Says it's buffering.
It's like I think overall the main question in the end will be because at first Ronnie Vitrix still has 2 squads that will reactive move because one squad you will have who is it called the guy that gives deep strike to one squad.
Ventress.
Yeah, because at least the things that the people around me saying they will play one squad with Kalgar that has deep strike, and they play one squad with the other one
Calgar.
in the Impulsor that has the 6-inch reactive move all the time, and with that you have 2 units with reactive move all the time. But I don't think that the reactive move is the problem. I don't think that the blood surge move is the problem. The problem is the 4 wounds. Nothing else. Like it's like. Yes, of course, AOC 2-up save can hurt as well, but it's like the 4 wounds make it so brutal because, yes, okay, cool, I need to have 2 wounds go through. Okay, you can have 3-up saves. Even if you have 4-up saves, it still means in the end I need 4 wounds to go through on a unit that will most of the time will only get on hits on 4. It just gets really bad math-wise. I still don't know if it actually is that bad. Like I had 2 games in them now, and I feel like the biggest part where Halfband struggles is if the people start combine the what's it called, the dreadnoughts again, that have -1 damage.
Dreads.
The Redemptor Dreads for Vitrix, I think like Redemptor Dreads are insanely hard to kill for Hearthguard. Or for Halfband if you don't take Hekatons with ray guns. Because they will also melt like Halfband pretty easily, and this is something that Delve can kill. And my question that I had sometimes now is, can Delve not just outrun the Vitrix guards and say I just run around you and go for other objectives? Because if you actually look into the list, it's like, okay, 2 times Vitrix guard, there's a Gilliman, there's a Kalgar, there's some shooting. Okay, that's it. The list is done. There's not that much shit anymore. So I think still for singles, especially with like Atmech going hopefully away, it was Halfbrand killer. You could put them probably still in top contender, but behind or maybe inviable. You could argue about it. I would say in teams they're still the best pick to go for because there you can not have them the bad matchup into Vitrix guard, and they will probably, if you know what you do, you can crush nearly everything. And I just looked a bit into my games, and I'm still on a pretty high win rate with them, especially because nobody's playing Delve. Nobody knows what they're gonna do. Like even from the top players, I don't know anyone that plays Delve.
Yeah, it has all of the right tools that you would look for in a detachment that could push like differential really hard. That's what we were looking at for teams too. It pushes really good as like an aggressor.
Yeah, right. You get advance and charge, you get rapid ingress plays, you get uppy downy on berserks. Like you get a lot of tools to play some really high level Warhammer, right? So
Yeah, Delve is one of those large differentials into favorable matchups. Hearthband is just one of those you can pull a draw into a bad matchup. Try and pull a WTC 10-10 or 9-11 in either direction.
Yeah, I agree with that. Saturn Siggy with the
Unless you
$279.
play into 80 Berserks for World Eaters, then you'll just 20-0. Then it's great.
Yeah, that is a 20. Thanks so much, Saturn, for the donation, man. Really appreciate it. Super kind of you. All right, boys. So with just 3 detachments left here, let's do Needguard. Next, Jordan, why don't you take the lead on Needguard?
I probably think it's slightly worse than both Hearthband and Delve. It's got a speed problem, right? I think that really hinders it. Like, you only get, so because you're taking the Hearthguard brick, right? You really only get like 1 deep strike unit that really gives you like a rapid ingress play. It's just like it plays very fair Warhammer still, and I think it lacks a couple speed. Like, I don't have advance in shoot, and I don't have advance in charge. And it feels like sometimes when I go second, I get jailed in a way. Like, maybe like fully jailed, but jailed enough to where, like, I am not going to outscore my opponent unless something, like, really major happens where I have to do some risky stuff. So, like, and I don't get, like, super big, like, margin either. It really struggles a lot of times to pressure your opponent's natural, especially if you go second, right? I feel like every time I don't go first with Needguard, and my opponent knows to just like, all right, I'm gonna send a lot of stuff to stage, like really aggressively in the midboard, and then do a turn 2 push. It's really hard for me to stop their scoring, and even if I do win that game, it's never gonna be big. So.
Yeah, so it
Like,
just kind of keeps an even pace and plays Warhammer, but you can't get that push. Yeah, I kind of feel like Brandfast is similar in a sense. It's always been, I would say, like relatively comparable to Needguard. Like you could almost plug and play the same list in both. And I think the same drawbacks you mentioned kind of apply here as well. And I feel like it doesn't really like playing into like fast aggressive armies for Brandfast. Like you kind of do your own thing. And if you're forced on the back foot with Thunderkin as your main damage source, it becomes a little bit hard to take up space on the board. And it's also the least reliant on Hearthguard, which are the best units right now going into the meta. So I actually unfortunately think it's going to fall to underperformer. But sorry, I glossed over everybody else's opinion on Needguard, but why don't we talk about that? We'll go back to this and then wrap up on Brandfast. Ronnie, so how do you feel about Needguard?
I think it's viable.
Yeah.
Like, there's not too much to say about it. It's got tools for everything, but again, I think we have an AP issue. And most Needguard lists run double fort with Thunderkin and then a brick of Hearthguard, and that's like the essential of their list with a couple Capricus's and some squads of Jagers. They do well mid game, but they do have an early game denial issue. Like, especially on some layouts where they can sit on their natural without actually exposing themselves. There's no real challenging to them.
Yeah.
Their opponent can kind of play the game at their own pace.
Yeah.
So if your opponent takes a big score lead, it's kind of hard to come back from.
Yep. Yeah. Tim, any thoughts on Needguard? I feel like Brandfast also just ties in with that, so we could skip over this one.
Yeah, it's like in the end, basically what lacks all these detachments is the possibility to somehow push into the enemy or threaten something that is standing behind a wall. And if you cannot do that, yes, cool, you're done.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't do much against it.
Yeah. And I think on that note, for similar reasons, Persecution Prospect it's not made by an ECOG. There's something here, but I wouldn't even say it's underperformer. I just don't think it'll perform well. It just lacks damage.
I think it can do well in a skew for teams.
Yeah.
Because if you can get it into an all infantry list that just wants to run at you, you can do pretty well. But outside of that, if you run into something that's running 3 tanks, you have no way to actually remove those tanks, and then they just bully you at that point.
Yeah, you're finished. I think if they remove the restrictions and tweak some of the stuff around here, it's actually a pretty decent detachment, but unfortunately a little too restrictive. Anybody have any other closing thoughts on this one, on our last tier list here? No, everybody seems to be pretty
I mean,
in line.
I still don't know if Death actually should be a top contender, because I feel like Marines would be actually a problem with Vitrixguard, but also I don't know as long. But I feel like maybe we shouldn't focus that hard on Vitrixguard, because it will probably not stand like that long in the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to put it back, just like it's just my own psychonism. Just I made the math into Vitrixguard, and after that I needed math. So
Yeah, I mean, listen, Tim, you're the guy, you're the Delve guy. So I mean, if you tell me it's ECOG tier, I put it in ECOG tier, no questions asked. At the end of the day, so
yes, Games Workshop buff Berserk's 100 points for 20.
So I feel pretty good about this one as well here.
It's in the end, it's still probably there. I think like you can win a lot of things, and just the point, if something went wrong for the enemy and one Berserk survives and the whole squad comes back, wins you the game automatically.
Yeah, which is pretty sweet. Okay, boys.
Whole
So
squad fights on death, and then surprise, they're back.
yeah, that's pretty cool too, for sure. I really want to try Delve. It's the only one besides Hearthfire I haven't played. I just don't own enough Berserk. So Tim, maybe I'm gonna have to put an order through in Germany and start getting some reps in with them now that you're done with yours. All right, boys.
Has anyone here actually played any games with Hearthfire? Because I've played a couple games. That's how I know I hate it so much.
I didn't. I was
it's just
thinking
way too-
about it for Thursday, and I'm like, I get to play like one game a week. Do I really want to waste it on Hearthfire? And I decided not to.
I've actually played like 8 to 10 games with them in a WTC, because we had an idea of a team list. But the problem, and if you play against an enemy that doesn't have the melee power to push right in there, it's ridiculous, because each turn you get 5 primaries or maybe even 10 for free. Problem is, at the point where the enemy starts to understand that the only thing you do is stepping outside from the wall and then going back, stepping outside and going back, and he just runs through the points, or just runs into you, you lose like 20-0, because there's nothing that do damage in this detachment. I mean, besides from the things that do damage standard-wise, but there's no delete unit.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we could wrap the stream up with just maybe some closing thoughts on what we think we're going to get in the data slate. Maybe you guys already said that when I went to the washroom, but maybe just some closing thoughts on where we kind of see points going. I don't think we're going to get any major changes to like data sheets or anything like that, but I think we'll see a lot of points drops. I already have lists ready to go from when Codex came out with minus 20 points, because I know what's going to happen. Like, I'm super confident on that. So, Roddy, we'll start with you, man. What do you think we're going to see generally?
I can see potentially Bikes and Thunderkin going up, but I can see stuff like Berserks. I can see maybe Sagittar and maybe Landforts going down, kind of just to offset the points value. But I think we're going to just end up with our list being exactly the same as points value wise. Give or take 5-10 points.
Okay. Jordan, how about yourself?
Well, if we look at precedent, they spent 2 years not touching Votann points.
Please, no.
I'm saying if. I don't think we're actually getting anything.
Really? You guys? Oh my god, no. We have to.
Well, so, I don't... All right. This is challenging, because knowing GW and looking at the past, they probably won't do too much. What I want... I think most characters could drop a little bit, and I think there's a few units, probably a lot, that could drop like 10 to 20, right? But I don't know how much we'll get. I really don't.
Everything down
like
10 points.
Everything.
I think the most important data sheet dropping is probably Berserks, right? Like, do Berserks drop a significant amount? Right, that's I think that's the question of the slate, right? Is because there's a lot that's going to happen for Berserks, right? They're going to get a character, like they're finally going to get a character, and are they going to get points drops that are competitive? You know, so.
Can y'all go back to saying that Thunderkin are trash? Because y'all were talking about how bad Thunderkin were, and then Thunderkin went from 85 points to 80 points.
Different times, Ronnie.
So,
different times.
Problem.
Yeah.
Hey, 66
5 points
blast, 5
difference.
2 anti 2+ was awesome. It was
Yeah.
great. Y'all hated on it for
I do
so
think
long.
it's
How
it's
dare you.
ironic that now Ronnie, who was the biggest Thunderkin guy, is like purely for Hearthguard, and Jordan, who was anti
I mean, I still
Thunderkin,
love
is like
Thunderkin.
pure Thunderkin.
I got
He's only
so many
running 3 more.
like barrel of monkeys over here with Thunderkin.
Yeah. So Tim, for yourself, any insight from Europe? What do you think is going to happen with this? You're a little closer to GW headquarters, so what do you think we could expect
I
to
mean,
see?
I would honestly think we will see nothing, because if we look at the win rates, we are just in the range where we should be. I feel like I'm with Ronnie there. I think that some things could drop a bit, like as example, the Hekaton, in my opinion, could drop a bit. Maybe we will see like a character drop a bit. But I could also see that Carrier and Jaegers will increase in points because they are cheap for what they do. And yes, I personally would love it if Berserk go down from points a bit. But in the end, if I just think about it overall, how much points do we actually need to make like a difference in lists? Because if we're only talking about like 20 to 30 points, I'm still ending up most cases in the situations where I can finally field the character with an enhancement, or I can maybe switch the Mimir against an Iron Master or whatever. But I think the problem with Votann, or if we have a problem to say it like that, is much more on data sheets than in points, and I don't expect that we get that much point drops that will make a big change. This is at least my opinion. Maybe I will
We
sit
need
here
to
in 2
ignore his
weeks
cover
and,
back.
yeah, or give ignore cover on the indirect.
Oh,
That I could see.
or
oh,
Yeah,
plus one
it's
AP. Like,
yeah, or
we could
plus
do,
1
like,
AP. Like there's multiple, like, or give Tan like a 3 wound spec. Like I still don't know where the 3rd wound goes. Like or the Berserk, but in whatever. Like I think we have fundamental problems still on data sheet level. We have a big problem with an armor rule that is not working. Once again, who knows? But I mean, not working is the wrong word. But like, cool, you have infinity points. If you don't play Delve, you can just ignore them.
basically.
And this is, in my opinion, one of the worst things we have. Yeah, besides that, I mean, I'm looking forward for point drops. I would love to get them. Will they make a big impact? We will see. Probably for me, if Berserk actually get like 20 point drop, it will make a big difference for me. But in the end, I will have to have 5 more Berserk in my list. Cool.
I'm also calling it now. The character that's coming out is not going to have the Chthonian Berserk keyword, so he's not going to get Deep Strike with his squad.
yeah.
No.
He's not going to get it in Delph.
No.
No. You know what? You know what will happen? He has the Chthonian keyword, and the enhancement lets Chthonian units come in 1 turn earlier, so he can then come from the side turn 1 and go for the 9-inch 9-inch start.
With a reroll.
With a reroll.
Yes, reroll. Maybe he gives +1.
I gotta get on Delve. I gotta play Delve.
Yeah,
man.
get rid of the Hammer Champs rule.
I think Delve is so appealing. I'll just say this last thought. I know we could wrap up, but like, I think Delve is so appealing because it's the least like the 2 best detachments that are fun to play, Hearthbrand and Delve, are the 2 least Codex detachments of Votann, which is so sad. They're like the least reliant on like the weird restrictions around yield points and like the influx you get. You actually get to use them and play. And they have the funnest strats and like the most loose rules in terms of damage output and synergy within the army. It's bad. Everything's super restrictive, which is unfortunate. Hopefully they fix it in 11th, because I don't think we'll see any changes before then. All right, guys. Well,
we still need a detachment that gives us all assault.
should have been
For the
Prospect.
love of God.
Yeah. That could be a game changer detachment if they ever decide. You know what they do? Like every slate, here's 3 detachments. If we finally get a detachment that gives us assault, like army-wide assault, I think that changes a lot.
But actually, would you think? I still don't feel that the problem is shooting. The problem is that we cannot threaten things on the map that are behind something.
Yeah.
Like
that is a big problem, right? Like the only advance in charge being in Delve. That's a big problem, right? I feel like we're missing a data sheet with the jump.
You guys have to sit there and take your risks. Do your 8-inch charge out of Deep Strike with a reroll. Take your Hammer Champs and be happy with it. Run Hearthband. Be a man.
That's as good as it's gonna get. Yeah,
That is your extent of charging behind walls.
it's just so safe. It's so safe, and it's a shame because there's a lot of good ideas here, a lot of interesting concepts, and I think if they just let it go a little bit and stop being so afraid. I don't know what we ever did to them, but they're terrified of giving us like AP or like any cool strats that
I
everybody
mean,
else
to be
has.
fair, we were banned at our release. We were banned before we released. Then
They hated us since
we
we
had,
were
like,
conceived.
I would
Yeah.
still love if we get our old AOC back. No rerolls against whole army.
Dude, that's cool. I never even played with that rule active because I joined late, but that was cool. Super cool.
I will say I am a little annoyed that our AOC has a stipulation of having to be in Fortify, and that it still doesn't
Stupid.
last for the phase.
Yeah. Yeah.
It feels like the character of the army is gone because before it was like, okay, dwarves are slow, but they are like durable. And if I look right now at our data sheets, I think they're expensive but not durable. Like
Give me all
nearly
my
everything
wounds
is
back.
just
Give the
Yeah.
big berserk the extra attack and the extra wound. Give me my sergeant back with the extra wound. Like, I don't know how many times I'm like, all right, that's 3 damage. Looks like you killed the bikes.
Yeah. It's like everything went down a wound, some things went down a toughness, and like everything has like a 4-up save. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
In what world is that durable?
But you can get -1 to wound by with more strength. And you're
Oh my
sitting there like,
god, thank you,
if
Tim,
I'm
for
dead, I'm
reminding
dead.
me. Like, I don't know
Yes.
about you guys in your meta, but I find like every game I play, there's like some. It just never comes up, the -1 to wound. Either the strength is like the same level as my toughness already, or it's lower, so it didn't have any effect, or it has like anti-infantry keyword.
We lose to the keyword twin linked.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's what we lose to. Wound rerolls and then
Yeah.
gone.
But Matt, you know how satisfying it is if your berserk just put -1 to wound against everything, and you're sitting there be like T6. I
have
don't
to try
care.
It. I
You-
have to try it.
Like as an Eldari player, let all his warp spiders jump in and doing like 3 damage, and I was like,
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
understand
no.
why Berserks went up in toughness, then lost wounds, and then Hearthguard went down in toughness and didn't gain a wound. Like, where is this logic?
Yeah, Tim, I think I'm gonna put an order through to Germany tonight. We'll see. I gotta get Delve on the table. Don't go to bed, man. Get that printer going.
I have all of my Berserks sitting back there. I'm just sitting with Hearthband. I love Hearthband so much.
Hearthband is pretty fun. All right, guys. Well, thank you
Exactly.
so much
Oh,
for.
standing up my dresser too.
Who's standing on your dresser?
I said all 3 of my land forts
Oh.
are just sitting on my dresser.
Where's Buri?
Also, guys, do we want to look at the last thing that will kill Vitrix with the damage 4 sweep?
Oh yeah. Oh.
19 attacks, my friend. 19.
They have 19 attacks at damage 4.
Yeah, he has 18 attacks, hitting on 2s, with sustained 1, with damage 4 if you use the threat, and strength 11.
What? It's the first I see this.
Or you can
That's
make 7 attacks with damage 11.
All right, time to play works.
That's insane, man.
That's what.
What?
So funny.
You need to bring out the big guns.
I take like 1 month off this game, and like, what happens? Insane. All right.
You're gonna come back. You're gonna see me running 3 land forts, and then you're gonna see Tim running Hearthband.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
seriously.
you see Tim running to Stompers. Come, Vitrix, come to me.
Back on orcs. Stefan says, thanks, guys. Nice stream. Thanks so much for tuning in. A big thank you to our guests tonight, Ronnie, Jordan, Tim. Tim, especially. I know it's super late for you, man. I did not think you'd make it this
Oh, it's
long.
super
So thanks, or super early, yeah. So thank you guys seriously for coming on. Really appreciate it. Big thank you to the viewers for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed this updated tier list.
Breakfast.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go have supper. Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you agree, if you disagree, what you think is going to be up and coming in this brand new meta. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you all in the next one. All right. Sweet. Well, thank you, guys.